As Chinese President Xi attends the BRICS summit of major emerging economies in South Africa, there is a surge of interest in BRICS membership.
The issue of adding new members to the BRICS grouping is high on the agenda as 20 countries, including Saudi Arabia, Nigeria, Argentina and Egypt, have officially applied to join. The organization believes this demonstrates the confidence developing countries have in forming a geopolitical force that can stand up to the West. While more than 70% of international trade is done using the US dollar, there are discussions about a single currency to be used by all BRICS nations. This is in an attempt to lessen America's influence over global trade.
That's a BBC's Namsa Maseko. A jailed university student who pleaded guilty to inciting secession in Hong Kong has lost his bid to reduce his 5-year prison sentence. News and analysis, townhall.com. It's not only in the U.S. Destructive and deadly wildfires burn abroad as well, and officials on the Spanish tourist island of Tenerife say a massive blaze there is an arson fire.
Canary Islands Regional President Fernando Clavijo says police have opened 3 lines of investigation, but has not said if any arrests have been made. Large swathes of pine forest and scrubland have been incinerated. 12,000 people have been evacuated, but no injuries have been reported and no houses have been burned down so far. Authorities say improved weather conditions have helped firefighters battle the flames, which have raged for the past 5 days and have been described as the worst wildfires in Tenerife in decades. I'm Lawrence Brooks.
And a major wildfire burns out of control in northeastern Greece for a 4th day. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The demolition, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. Welcome to Mornings with Mike Winters. I am he. That would be me, Mike Winters. Happy Tuesday, everybody.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, I'm happy.
Yeah.
I watched football last night. My team looked not embarrassing.
Okay.
Although it happened to me again. I messed up yesterday. I completely spaced that I had a historical society board meeting yesterday.
Oh, no.
5:30 rolls along, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, all right, kick off in 30 minutes. I'm going to sit here, watch the game. All of a sudden, I got a text from Amy. You coming to the meeting? Oh, I forgot all about the meeting. I was like, all right, on my way. I hit record on the DVR. I'm
It's
like,
the beauty of technology.
well, I don't like recording sports for a very specific reason.
We live in social media times.
Yes.
Spoilers.
It happened to me again.
Oh, you found out before you got to watch it.
Well, here's the funny part.
The worst.
It was unintentional, but so this is how this happens to me every time.
Mm-hmm.
So I go to the meeting. I get home 6:45-ish, about 45 minutes after kickoff.
Sure.
I want to start the game from the beginning. So I'm home and I'm fast forwarding and religiously fast forwarding and watching the game and enjoying my thing. And then about 9 o'clock-ish.
Okay.
I'm watching the game. And I get a text from Amy.
Oh, no.
Hey, thanks for making to the meeting tonight. I just said, hey, I'm sorry I'm late. I spaced and had football in the brain. And she goes, well, speaking of football in the brain, your Commanders came from had an awesome last-minute field goal to win. Congratulations. And I was about 5 minutes from seeing that myself.
It. Now, hold on. You were only about 45 minutes beyond.
Yeah.
So you could, theoretically, with the commercial breaks and things, get caught up.
I didn't catch up.
You,
I was
you weren't completely caught up.
Yeah, well, I missed a couple.
Here's where you and I think differ.
Yeah.
I would have skipped over some of the more boring plays.
Well,
I tend to skip over the middle 80.
Okay, well, here's my thing. It's preseason, and I don't get to hear people talking about the Commanders a lot. So I was kind of interested in hearing some of the dialogue between Joe Buck and Troy Aikman about the Commanders. So some of those lull parts I kind of wanted to watch. So I was literally just fast-forwarding through commercials and stuff.
Now, I understand. Miss Amy, she's
and she was being just
she's from a different time, but sweetheart, you have to understand there are spoilers out there.
She got me. I was
that's
about
a killer.
Did
you call her out?
No, I did not. I just said,
you did now.
I did now. I did not. I just said, yeah, looking forward to the season. I look very excited about this team. But I didn't. Anyway, I just looked at, because I was literally watching the game. Kim's completely zoned out on her phone, and I looked and I got the text and I put it down. I said, "Dang it!" I didn't say. Dang
I'm sure you
did not say "dang it."
I said a lot of
happened
words.
Again. And she goes, "What? The game got ruined. This is why I don't record games every single time. I thought I was going to get away with it this time, and then 15 minutes before the end of the game, ruined. Oh, I was so.
So that being said, congratulations.
Yeah, I was.
Darn it, that sucks.
See, this is why I don't record games. It happens to me every single. Even when I thought I was in the clear, I started recording 30 minutes before. I was like, oh, it's preseason. No one's going to spoiler it. I'll stay away from social media. Won't be a problem. And then sure enough, 15 minutes, I get a text. Bing, bing. How about them Commanders? Oh, why did you do that?
Phone down. Snap skateboard in half. Yeah, it's never fun.
Yeah, so. But anyway, I am happy. It was preseason. It was cool to watch. And Sam Howell, I think a lot of people said, oh, this is why the guy's the starting quarterback. He looked good. I mean, was he perfect? No. But did he look like a quarterback? Yeah.
He can hold his own.
He moved the ball, and we scored, and we won. We broke the Ravens' stupid streak that no one cared about but the Ravens. Apparently, they haven't lost a preseason game in like 28 games.
Really?
They won 28 straight preseasons in a row for like going back 8 years or something.
Sorry.
And then Washington finally beat them in a preseason game. And they kept acting like, well, it's no big deal, but they kept bringing it up like every other break. So I was like, well, if it's no big deal, why do you keep talking about it every other break?
It's kind of a big deal.
But I am happy.
Oh, congratulations.
Despite the fact that it got ruined.
But you still got to enjoy the moment. You just had to know that it was coming.
Yeah, I just think it was just nice to. Yeah, I just want to say, oh, they got. Now I knew. I was like, are they gonna get this field goal? Are they gonna get it? They gonna win? I don't know, but now I knew it was gonna make it.
I sent her a text back saying, "Hey, the dog dies at the end of Marley and Me." Bruce Willis was dead the whole time. Just spoil everything. Turns out he was Luke's father. Spoiler alert.
Yeah. I played nice and played. If it was regular season playoffs, I would have blew her up. But because it was preseason,
opening preseason,
I'm like, I'm gonna let
it slide. Oh, that's pretty funny.
But I was happy. It was nice, and for the first time in 20 plus years, I'm like, my team is not the laughing stock of the league anymore. Yay!
All right.
So happy about that.
You know, call that a win.
All I think of is those movies. So I'm somebody's beat. That's what I feel like now.
We started watching, crud, what's that? Ballers last night.
Oh, yeah.
It's on,
it's an HBO Max property.
It's HBO Max, yeah.
It's the one with The Rock. It's basically Entourage, but for sports.
Kind of, yeah. And that's what was funny. It was Misty before we started. Was like, I like the Entourage movie. Never saw the series, but I like the movie. I'm like,
oh, you gotta watch the series.
I was never a fan.
Oh, yeah.
It's okay. It was okay.
I love the series.
It's just, I don't know. I don't like watching winners win.
Okay. And you don't have a lot of movies to choose from.
I need more struggle than the Entourage crew has been presented.
Well,
There's enough.
That was just a 30-minute laugh romp. There was no point to that show ever.
That's one of the things I like. Okay, and I love it, but I also hate it. Is that feeling of just uncomfortability that you get from watching certain things.
Like Curb Your Enthusiasm uncomfortability?
Curb Your Enthusiasm. Okay, I'll tell you, the first time I watched the movie Step Brothers, I almost turned it off.
Oh, really?
Because it's so uncomfortable. No grown man acts like this. Like, it makes me physically uncomfortable, but I love it.
I did too.
I love that. That kind of thing, or like Always Sunny, how there's just like,
oh yeah,
the struggle is just constantly like people, just stuff getting thrown at them, or even better, Modern Family, how they just walk themselves into the worst possible situation every single time.
Yeah,
that's the kind of stuff I dig. Watching successful people succeed, it just I don't like it. I also really don't like what's his face.
Grenade?
No, the guy that plays Artie. Jeremy Piven. I can't stand Jeremy Piven.
See,
the only thing I like Jeremy Piven in was the movie The Goods. Other than that, he's just a smarmy dork that I don't like.
Yeah, but that's every one of his characters.
Yeah.
Even in The Goods, he's
Even
that
in
guy.
The Goods, yeah, but I like The Goods for...
Did you like PCU?
It was all right.
See that? I mean, it's a dated movie. You watch it now. But to me, because I grew up, kind of in that was kind of my, like the PCU people would be my age. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like coolness, as far as when that movie was made, I was about that guy, those ages at the time and all that. So I probably related to it a little better. Possibly, yeah. Because I'm like, I know those people. I know the George Clinton wannabes, the whole, you know what I mean? And that was a very time where dumb white college kids love George Clinton.
Right. Fair enough.
Because it was socially acceptable to, you seemed like you were cooler if you, I like George Clinton. I know one of the songs. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, whatever. But anyway, I probably should get the interview going. I've got to replay. Oh, put on my sheet, but I can do it from memory, I think.
Come on.
Chavis County Manager Bill joined us yesterday, so we're going to replay that interview here in just a few minutes. In the 8 o'clock hour today, we're going to have Elliot Rodriguez join us from Lone Depot to give us an update on what's that?
Elliot. E.T.
Speaking spells are creepy.
They really are.
And then in the 9 o'clock hour, artist Greg Birch going to join us, and he wanted to come in to talk a little bit about some of the updates, things he's doing, some books that he's doing artwork for, some Billy the Kid books and things he's doing artwork. Just give us an update there. And whatever other things may happen during that time, we will share them with you.
He posted a picture on Facebook yesterday that has me intrigued.
Ooh.
I don't know where he found them, but they are hot dogs made with bacon.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah.
But if you read the description...
It's regular hot dogs with bacon added.
Well, it says made with beef, pork, chicken, and bacon. I'm like, well, what does make bacon if pork's already in there?
There's other pork.
Pork-like products.
Bacon reserves its own spot.
That was the thing that got me. I'm like, and bacon on with pork? I'm like, what's the pork if it's not...
Pork?
All right. All right, it is 17 minutes after 7. Let's take a gander at your weather. We got another chance at rain. We'll see what happens.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We have just enough moist air available for some showers and thunderstorms by later on today. Pretty hot again. We'll be in the upper 90s, mostly sunny. And then tonight, scattered showers and thunderstorms with low 70s. Wednesday looks about the same. Showers and thunderstorms will be possible again in the afternoon, and we'll stay in the low 90s and partly sunny. Sunny and mid-90s Thursday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 73 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity's at 53%. Winds currently out of the north at 3 miles per hour. There is a 20% chance for showers and thunderstorms after 3 this afternoon. Mostly sunny. High of 98 today, sub 100. That makes you feel good. Winds out of the north, 5 to 15 miles per hour. Chance of rain bumps up to 30% tonight, mainly before midnight. Mostly cloudy. Overnight low is 72 degrees. Southeast winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. Wednesday, 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms. Mostly sunny and 95. East winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tomorrow night, we're looking at a 20% chance at showers and thunderstorms. Partly cloudy, overnight low of 70. South winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. Then, not talk of rain after Wednesday. Thursday, just sunny and 95. South winds 5 to 10 in the morning, 10 to 15 for the afternoon. Friday, sunny and 99. Then for the weekend, sunny and 100 on Saturday. Rain chances back in the forecast Sunday, a 20% chance, mostly sunny and 96. And then 30% for Sunday night and a 30% on Monday of next week. So we'll see. All right, it is 19 minutes after 9 o'clock. Does this thing still not want to cooperate with me? All right, let's do this. Let's take a quick commercial break. And then on the other side of the break, we're going to play our interview with Chaves County Manager Bill Williams. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Roswell Skin Center and Dr. Cometti are here to provide what you need for cosmetic dermatology, offering facials, peels, Botox, filler, and laser. Dr. Cometti at Roswell Skin Center invites you to become a VIP member. Receive $50 off your first treatment. Sign up for rewards at roswellskin.com.
Here's Mike
Most
Winters.
of the problems that people have with plants comes down to basic farm management. That means knowing what to plant and when to plant it. Hi, this is Jim Gill from Roswell Seed Company. Planting at the wrong time usually leads to disappointment and heartache, sort of like your first love. But planting at the right moment puts Mother Nature on your side, and that makes growing things easier and a whole lot more fun. So before you plant anything, come to see us at Roswell Seed, or just give it a try and hope for the best. It gives me a chance to say, I told you so.
More than 50 million Americans live with chronic pain. If you're experiencing pain that interferes with your daily life, Artesia General Hospital can help. Dr. Casey Della Barca and our compassionate team of providers treat a variety of conditions, including arthritis, back and neck pain, migraines, neuropathy, and more. We offer advanced procedures and comprehensive therapy, and we personalize treatment plans to help you get back to living a quality life. Request an appointment at artesiageneral.com/pain.
Are you looking for a way to serve your community? Look no further than the New Mexico Army National Guard. Whether it's disaster relief or defending our freedoms, the New Mexico Army National Guard is always ready to serve. Gain valuable skills, receive world-class training, and be a part of a team that makes a difference. Step up and become the best version of yourself. To join the New Mexico Army National Guard, call us at 1-800-GO-GUARD. That's 1-800-GO-GUARD.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Linen can absorb up to 20 times its weight in moisture before it feels damp. Now, you don't have to get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom anymore. Here's Mike Winters.
And joining us in studio this morning, Chaves County Manager Bill Williams back with us. Good morning, Bill.
Good morning.
How's life in your world this morning?
Well, it's doing pretty good. I've got here a little late this morning. My dog brought her in for a little fun time last night, and as I stepped through the gate in the dark, there's a giant hole that she dug there. So this morning I was filling holes, and I said, I'm supposed to go talk with Mike this morning. So I broke a few speed limits getting here.
Well, you know a guy if you need to,
Well, unfortunately, the last time I was speeding through that particular area, it was a state police guy that got me, and he wasn't as understanding.
And when you tell them, do you know who I am? That doesn't play very well.
No.
It just doesn't. But hopefully you didn't find out about the hole the hard way.
Well, I did last night as my flip-flops. I went out in the dark and,
no.
whoa, what is this? Fortunately, I have no broken bones this morning.
Good, but you did take a little tumble.
Well, not quite. But
let's just say you and the dog weren't happy with each other that particular minute. But, good. Everything worked out.
Yes, everything went good and got here on time.
Yes, and made it even with time to spare because I'm chronically late. For folks that aren't familiar, Bill joins us once a month, and generally right after the county commission meeting, and we kind of talk highlights from county commission meeting. And, of course, if there's other things happening around the county, we talk about that stuff, too. So
right.
that's
and
what
I
we're
was
doing
supposed
today.
to be here Friday, but I had another meeting We had 4 counties. There's Otero, Eddy, Lincoln, and Chaves County are all debating, if you want to call it that, with the U.S. Forest Service because they have a plan to put as much as a potential of 403,000 acres aside as wilderness area.
Oh, boy.
Which, it's their property. If they want to do that, that's fine. The problem is properties that are not wilderness areas have multiple use, including grazing, harvest timber harvest, I guess. A lot of other things, are opportunities on forest land when they do that. They failed to take into account all these things that were going on the ground. Wilderness area, as defined by the Wilderness Act, has very particular parameters. It's either wilderness or it's not. It's not kind of in between.
You just can't go into New York City and say we're calling this wilderness now, and then
because of improvements, it's supposed to be in its permanent natural state. Untouched by man. I mean, they have all these little terms for it. Well, the Forest Service chose to use their handbook in some areas, which is a lot less stringent than the actual, it's either black or white, wilderness area. There's no in between there. They choose to use their handbook, and then they continue at that point to even subjectively determine from there what is wilderness, what's not. At a meeting that we had here in Roswell, we've had 2 meetings in Roswell. We brought them here, brought all the counties or representatives of all the counties and county commissions. They actually said, well, our handbook says no pipelines. But what we interpret that to mean is like pipelines over 6 inches in diameter. Those are the ones that are really ugly and create problems. But what about these thousands of feet of small pipeline for, whatever the purpose?
So they don't get qualified as pipe because they're small, even though they're pipes and lines.
Right. And another thing that they chose to do is overlook that when they did their inventory of these 403,000 acres of land, they failed to take into account things such as actual old mines, from when people were mining for gold or whatever. I don't know what they mined for out of those mines. They also failed to take into account permanent improvements such as, or utilities, such as power lines, all these kind of things running right through the middle of their quote, wilderness areas, buried pipelines, community water supplies. Ranchers sometimes get what they call equip monies from the NRCS office, and so that allows them to do improvements such as building water tanks and fencing and those kind of things. And a lot of these lands had a whole bunch of that kind of infrastructure in them, and they just failed to take it into consideration. And when the ranchers came and provided a wonderfully put together PowerPoint presentation, showed all these problems with this being considered wilderness, then they said, well, we won't consider those in the final alternative. They had, I believe, 5 alternatives. One was the most, as much as 403,000 acres of wilderness area. The other one had none. And what they proposed to send forward to Washington is probably something in between.
Okay.
But the problem is, once you put these lands on a list, what's to stop them from 5 years from now saying, we want some more wilderness area? Oh, and we have a pre-approved list that's already been vetted out. Well, they admitted in our meetings in the past that that was a flawed research project, I guess, that they had not taken into consideration the other things going on the ground. They had not taken into consideration a lot of different things, and they had not followed the law as they're required to by the Wilderness Act of 1973. So we met with them again. I got a lot of the same kind of answers we've gotten along the way. Oh, I wasn't aware of that. I didn't know that. Oh, this is new information. After we had our last meeting in Roswell, the director of the Lincoln National Forest sat right there and told us what he was going to do tomorrow and the next day and the next day. The very next day, he was replaced as the leader of the Lincoln National Forest. And they sent an interim in, and we had a meeting with her Friday and her staff. And she wanted to have this meeting before she left because she's on her way out. So you would think that means they have a new Lincoln Forest manager. No, they will have another temporary Lincoln Forest manager who, after we discuss this with them, they'll probably have a meeting on their way out saying, well, we didn't get into this. I'm going to have to look into that.
Right. And so the buck got passed, basically.
The buck got passed yet again. So we continue to fight that fight for our counties because it's too important of a thing to let lands, like say, if they follow their own rules and decide that this should be wilderness area, that's their business. That doesn't affect us if they do it appropriately. But if they don't do it appropriately, then it gets into people's ability to make a living, people's ability to visit certain areas of the forest. Once they're off limits, once they're wilderness, the activity becomes very, very minimal. So we want to be sure that people have the opportunity to use the forest as required. And I brought up even again in this meeting, Chaves County has a postage stamp size piece of forest in Chaves County. But Chaves County has a postage stamp size piece of forest in Chaves County. So we need to be involved in the process.
Absolutely.
And they had failed to do that before. Talking about wilderness, one of their biologists actually said that there's varying levels of wilderness, which the Wilderness Act does not say that. It says it's either wilderness or it's not. It says, well, what we've done is we've put the highest ranking wilderness on this one plan that we would like. We created a new plan. We're going to send that one forward, but it's got the ones that are the lands that are absolutely, there's no doubt that they're wilderness. And the other, versions of this that Congress could pick, even if they suggest this plan, or 5 years from now, they could add them all back in, like I say. She says, those are lesser wilderness. And, hold on, I have a question. So is it wilderness or is it not wilderness? I believe that wilderness is wilderness, and if it's not wilderness, it's not. And your own rules and regulations dictate that you look at it that way. Says, well, this is the way I told my husband. We went to the county fair, or to the fair, and we walked into the show where they were showing animals and said, see there, this is kind of how wilderness is. That animal's a little bit better than that animal. It's a little bit better than that animal, and that animal's not even in the running with these other animals. That's kind of how it is with wilderness. You have your really good wilderness, pretty good wilderness, lesser wilderness, and things that barely even meet the qualification of wilderness. Well, I didn't really agree with that particular comparison.
Yeah.
So, like I say, raise my hand. I says, well, the only thing I have to say about that is I believe that wilderness is wilderness. So you might want to say a pig is a pig. So if I bring a dairy heifer into the pig show, it is not only going to not be judged as a pig, but it's going to be disqualified because it doesn't meet the requirements to be shown as a pig.
Right.
Same thing happens with wilderness. So she deferred that, well, maybe this redneck farm boy might have a pretty good comparison too. But that's kind of the mentality sometimes of these federal agencies and people that work for them. And we have no problem with the people that work for them. They're just trying to make a living. But these orders are passed down from above, and nobody questions anything. They just blindly follow. And that's kind of where our Chaves County commissioners jump in and try to assist. Commissioner Perry went with me to this meeting. Usually we have a pretty good contingent of county commissioners. This particular time, everyone was kind of tied up. So Commissioner Perry and I were the representatives for Chaves County this time. But anyway, that's where we're at with the Forest Service. We have another meeting with the Forest Service, Fish and Wildlife Service, and some other entities, Game and Fish, tomorrow. And that has to do with the egregious thing that took place with the Goss family, with fencing off the water so that the meadow jumping mouse, which has never been seen there, by the way, will have plenty of water.
Maybe jump meadows.
So they put up a fence so that the cattle who get to graze on that particular multiple use piece of land have to walk 5 miles down a fence, 5 miles back to get water, then 5 miles up the fence, 5 miles back to get to grazing. Well, that's not a very good scenario.
No.
And the elk and the deer and the rabbits and the checker spot butterflies and whatever else wants water can get to it through that fence, except for the cattle. So it seems to be more of an attack on grazing than it does
absolutely.
on
you're basically
on protection of a meadow jumping mouse that's never been seen there. But then to take it a step further, well, the cows were still thirsty, so they would walk the 5 miles up, the 5 miles back, get their water, go back and graze, and they were still getting to the water.
How much does a mouse really need as far as water? I mean, honestly, it's a mouse.
Well, I've not studied meadow jumping mice, but I would think they'd be able to jump from one hoof print to the other full of water and have all the water they needed.
Yeah, I feel like we get a picture for one and cover like good chunk of them right there.
That's probably good enough for 100 mice.
Yeah, here's a picture. That'll cover a bunch.
So the cattle were still getting to the water, and so what they did then is reduce the grazing allotment, which they've had for generations. But they reduced it down to a third of the number of cattle that they were allowed to graze there. Well, they can't make a living if they don't have the proper number of cattle to graze and do things. So,
absolutely.
So we're meeting yet again with federal entities and other entities that seem to be attacking, if you want to call it that.
People with an agenda trying to do something, that, get rid of something, an ideology because they don't like it, basically. But they have no alternative to say, well, fine, well, what are you going to do in its place?
Well, and the same thing with oil and gas. They're attacking oil and gas left and right, even though oil and gas has paid for the schools, the roads, the hospitals within our state.
Not to mention, every technology that you're trying to put us in to get past oil and gas requires oil and gas to make it. So, where are you at now?
So,
that's the argument rational people have been saying for the last 20 years. Like, great, sure, we love it. Want to go easier, quicker, fine. What do you got to replace it with, and how are you going to do it without oil and gas? And no one has that answer yet, and they won't have an answer because technology hasn't gotten us there yet. That's the problem.
Well, right. We're kind of getting the cart before the horse in a lot of ways. The infrastructure is just not there for a lot of this stuff, and it's not that we maybe shouldn't move that direction or consider those other alternatives.
But you can't do it while you don't have
do it
something
overnight.
Yeah,
and it shouldn't be paid for by the federal government, our taxes, paying people incentives to change to something else that there's no infrastructure for. I just think that's a bad.
I would imagine our country probably went something very similar when we went to the automobile, going from the horse to the automobile and, the infrastructure you have to put in place for an automobile. And then you look at the 20s and 30s and you see the Great New Deal. And really that's kind of a begat of that. It's just technology.
Take it further back, the railroads.
Yeah,
exactly. I mean, the railroads still have a huge amount of control over our nation because they brokered a heck of a deal,
Well, and that was, especially the first half of the 1800s, the whole goal was to get a rail system from East Coast to West Coast, and once that happened, the world changed big time for this country. So
my wife and I are going to go visit my sister, and she actually lives in California. Nobody throw rocks, please. She lives in California, and we've never taken the train before. So we decided we're going to take a train ride to California and just see what it's like. And I would consider, if you want to make some money, invest in Dramamine about the middle of October, because it's going to take a bunch for me not to get sick. So your stock will definitely go up.
He's going to single-handedly up the sales that month.
So we found out that we're going to go to Lamy. And catch the train at Lamy rather than Albuquerque. We just prefer, we're kind of country folk, prefer to stay out in the country.
Sure.
I didn't know this, but the Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe Railroad, they began building it. They got close to Santa Fe and said, you know what, the terrain isn't beneficial for us to take the train all the way into Santa Fe, and that's why the Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe Railroad goes through Lamy, and I think that's about 15 miles south of Santa Fe.
Okay.
And I never knew that. That's kind of odd that the railroad is named for a town that they actually couldn't access. They did put a spur line in so that people could get on that and get up there, but to get the train from where they were going to where they wanted to be, they did not go through Santa Fe.
Interesting. So, I bet the sports teams took that page from them because you look at half the sports teams and sure the Arizona Cardinals, but they don't. I mean, they play in Arizona, but like. Some of these teams, like Washington Redskins or Commanders, they play in Maryland. They don't play in D.C.
Right.
I bet it's the same thing there. So, it's because that's where they can put the stadium.
Anyway, I guess I kind of got off subject there with the trains, but anyway, we're looking forward to doing that.
Okay.
Back to the county commission meeting.
Yes.
First thing that we did at our county commission meeting, Senator Gay Kernan resigned her position in August, and effective. Is that right? Effective August 1st, effective September 1st.
Okay.
Yeah, August 31st. She runs through that.
Yes. So a couple weeks here.
I could be off on my dates. But anyway, she resigned. And when that happens, our state constitution says that the counties would provide a name, a nomination. They send it to the governor, and then the governor would choose who that would be. Well, in this case, there are 3 counties. And so there are 3 counties are sending names. Normally, if it's one county, once you vote, you're going to send one name and they have to choose from
Pretty much decided.
In this case, we had 3 counties, and we've all worked towards getting the word out, letting people know if you're interested in this position, to let us know. We only have 11 voters in that particular precinct. It's 47 and 47A or something like that actually vote for Senator Kernan's former seat.
Okay.
And so we didn't have as much skin in the game as, for instance, Lee County and Eddy County.
Sure.
So they went through their processes. Lee County chose State Representative Larry Scott as their nominee. He wanted to move into that position and continue to work for them, but from the Senate side rather than from the House of Representatives. Eddy County, they chose a former county commissioner, also another great choice. His name is Stephen McCutcheon.
Okay.
And they put his name forward in Eddy County. He did really good things as an Eddy County commissioner, and as Larry Scott has done as a state representative. So had some pretty good names there. Sure. We had both of those people. We had no additional interest in Chaves County, but both of those people came and talked to the county commission and put their names out there, kind of gave us an update on what they do and what they believe. And Chaves County chose to support Larry Scott's move as our nominee as well. So we have 2 nominees. We sent our letter to the governor on Friday, or Thursday afternoon, actually. So we have 2 of us sent in for Larry Scott, State Representative Larry Scott, and Eddy County sent in for Stephen McCutcheon.
Okay.
And so now it's in the governor's hands. We'll see which one she chooses, but she has to choose from one of those 2. And either of them would be a great choice for our community. So,
is there any criteria that she has to do when picking these? Like, you know, like does the fact that one has two counties supporting and the other one carry weight with the governor? Or does that matter at all?
I don't think it matters. I believe the governor can choose whoever she wants from the list. She can't.
Gotcha.
She can't insert another name, is my understanding.
Okay. But it has to be one of the 2.
But it has to be one of the 2.
Okay.
And she has to make her decision based on that. And of course, there's no educational requirements or anything. Just like when they run for office, it's just
sure.
I'm
sure she has people that does their backgrounds on each one of them, so she's not making an uninformed decision.
That's correct.
Whether you like the information's debatable, but she's not making an uninformed decision.
So now we're just waiting. We're in a holding pattern to see which one gets the nod from the governor's office, and we'll continue out the term. I believe it's till December 31st of 2024. The term ends, and then the person would have to run for the office.
They have to win it on their own merit,
right?
Basically, be elected by the people.
Right.
So
that was the first thing we did. Second thing that we did was kind of interesting. It's one of those days when we packed the commission chambers. A lot of people had an interest in this and came forward to support it. In fact, they even set up a table out front. You probably saw in the newspaper about 2 weeks ago, Representative Nybert talked about the referendum project and his support of that. And the state constitution says that if something is passed by the legislature and the people believe it is so bad that they would like to have the people vote on it, that they have that opportunity. They do have to have a petition with a certain number of names on it. They have to have it done by a certain time in order to get it removed and not going into effect immediately if they don't get that number. If they get to that number by the next year's legislative session, then I believe that's the timeline. Then it has to go for referendum.
Okay.
But it's already enacted, and I'm not sure where we're at with our signatures. I don't believe they were able to stop the laws from taking effect, but if they can get the correct number of signatures, the state constitution says then it will go into the voters' hands to decide. So there were 6 laws that were passed, and we didn't get into what's in those 6 laws because that's not the thing that we're supporting or opposing necessarily. But there were 6 laws that people felt were so egregious that they needed to have a petition for each one of those. And they're actively working on getting signatures to get people to stop these laws from going into place. What we voted on as a county commission was that the state constitution says we have this opportunity to take anything before the voters. If we follow all the rules, then it can be on the ballot. And then once it's on the ballot, if the people vote against it, it's done with. If the people uphold it, that's the way it is, you
Sure.
know. And kind of the same thing with getting the signatures. If we don't get the proper number of signatures, then it doesn't ever make the ballot. You know, that's fair's fair. I mean, let's follow the rules.
Sure.
And everybody's on
As
board.
long as
with
everyone
doing
has
that.
the same rules, and then we're good with it. Yeah.
In the case of these particular 6 laws, the Secretary of State, however, came forward and says these laws don't meet the requirement for referendum because they affect the public safety, health, and welfare.
But doesn't all laws affect the public safety, health, or welfare?
And that's the exact argument that
That's the reason we have
Representative
them?
Nybert made a few weeks ago was that, you know, that's kind of a dangerous track to go down because, I mean, you could make anything say that it met these requirements.
Yeah.
I believe that they filed them a certain way under health and welfare, even though the laws probably, in my opinion, don't necessarily meet those requirements for the health, safety, or welfare of the public. And so the resolution that we passed was in support of the referendum project. So we said the state constitution allows you to go to referendum if something is so egregious that you just want to get everybody else's opinion on it, not just the legislature. But you have that opportunity. Number 2 was there were 6 laws passed. That's what brought this up. We didn't go into what those laws were, but there were 6 laws passed that people were so shocked by that they started getting petitions signed. Then the resolution goes on to say that the Secretary of State chose to say that they didn't meet the requirements for referendum. And then to kind of sum up, the Chaves County Commission does not believe that any individual or entity should have the power to overrule what's written in our state constitution.
Sure.
And so they passed that overwhelmingly. Well, 5-0, that's pretty overwhelming.
That's pretty unanimous is pretty overwhelming.
There were a group of people who've been working tirelessly to get signatures for these 6 pieces of legislation. They had a table set up out front. They actually got a few more signatures while we were there. Many of us have already signed those petitions, and so they did very well. It was always good. I always say it's always good when you see the county commission chambers packed full of people. It was standing room only. We had a good group of people there.
That's
to see government, our local government, actually standing up for the people that they represent, and that's the bigger government that sometimes forgets about the people they represent.
And that's by far the easiest what people care about because let's face it, most commission meetings, there's a couple in the audience. Most of them are county employees waiting for their turn to speak, basically.
Well, we're a little better than that. But
a few people are there to witness it. But when you have a packed room, that means that this is a topic people care and want to talk about, obviously. So,
well, same thing when
it's
we did
of great importance when you see that crowd.
When we did the Second Amendment, support of Second Amendment rights and those types of things.
Sure.
The red flag laws, the county commission came out supporting the people on those, and the room was packed.
Yeah.
You know, and every time one of these hot button issues comes up, they step forward and the people come out to support and let everyone know that they are also in agreement.
And it works because it gives strength to the people you support, and it also, puts a dent in the argument to the people that you're fighting against to say, no, this is an issue that we care about. This is not something that you can just lightly pull over on our eyes and we just accept without a fight here. And that's and to be honest, strength in numbers works in this country. When you do those kind of things, people back down. That's why we do it. So keep doing it.
And just a real quick point of clarification on stuff like this. People send me stuff or bring me stuff fairly regularly. I don't just create a resolution and put it in front of the commissioners. One of the commissioners has to champion it. At least one of them has to be behind the cause.
Sure.
So anything you see go forward, it's because your commissioners are listening to you. So if you have a question or concern, call a commissioner and let them know. Because a lot of times someone will bring me something that they would like to see on the agenda.
Yeah.
But a commissioner has already called and said, this is going to be coming forward, and it's something that I support, and I think that we need to get it in front of everyone, because obviously I can't call all the commissioners because that's illegal.
Sure.
You know, so.
But this is why we have commissioners. They're your representatives.
They are your representatives, and call and let them know if there's something that you'd like to have done, and I'll do my part. You know, I'm just the administrator.
You're there to facilitate the commissioners, make sure that they can do what they need to do.
I'm there to make sure what they need done is done from month to month, and then they make their votes and do their thing.
Sure.
But I don't get the opportunity or the luxury, I guess, of just picking subjects. Hey, Bill believes in this. It has to come from your county commissioners. And so keep that in mind. Stay in contact with your county commissioners and talk to them about whatever's ailing you.
Generally, it's the other way around. The commissioners come to you, or the public comes to you, and then you tell them whether it's feasible or not, basically.
Right.
That's kind of, and if it's not, then you tell them and why it's not feasible, or if it's a commission, and then the commission goes back and says, all right, let's figure out a way to make it feasible, or let's drop the ball and move on to something else.
And of course, day-to-day operations, if you have a problem with your road or something of that nature, give me a call, give the road department a call. We take care of those things. We already have the infrastructure in place. We already have the rules and policies there. Yeah. And so we don't have to get permission to fix a problem that exists within the county. So give us a call. We'll work through the details and get things like that accomplished. So.
Absolutely. So this is why you come to the meetings. You come the third Thursday of the month at 9 a.m. You come. You're welcome to be there and part of this. And sit here in public, and as I said, a lot of people don't unless it's a hot button issue.
Right.
But it's especially I know it's a little hard now. School's in session, but when there's days off and things,
I'll bring your kids.
Bring the kids and all that. Let them see how the government and to be honest, going to city council and county commission meetings are the best way to really see how government works. Yeah. And seeing I'd say hit them both. You can compare and contrast and see how entities do it a little different, but they still kind of have the same requirements at the end of the day, but they may not agree on how they get to that end game, and it's kind of neat to watch that stuff.
And our meetings end before midnight, so you can still get home and watch your favorite episode of something.
Yours does start 9 in the morning, though.
Well,
That starts at 6 at night, so you get a head start. If yours went to midnight, we'd have real problems.
Well, occasionally ours go beyond noon, too.
Sure, that's true, too. There's some days are like, we only had a lunch menu, not a lunch and dinner.
It doesn't sound as bad, though, if you say noon or midnight.
Well, sure. Well, when
it's the same time link, but still.
Well, there's a difference from when you get done something and you go home and it's like it's bedtime versus going home and saying, all right, now what are we going to do the rest of the evening? Have dinner or whatever we're doing. But yeah, something to that.
Another thing that we did at our commission meeting this week is we passed, they approved the agreement with an emergency procurement for medical services at the Chaves County Detention Facility. I think I mentioned to you last month that we have been in negotiation, I guess, with our previous, or actually they're still our current medical care provider for the detention inmate medical services. We do a contract for a year, and then it has to be renewed every year up to 4 years.
Okay.
And then we have to do a new RFP and go out to follow procurement law. But we had our people in place, and after a year, then everybody says, yeah, I'm good with you staying or whatever, but let's negotiate the terms. And we did not manage to get together on the terms. There is a clause within our contract that either of us can terminate it with 60 days notice, and they chose to do that because we just weren't going to be able to get together on the price. There were some issues there.
Some lines in the sand that neither wanted to cross.
So anyway, 60 days is not adequate time to put together a request for proposal and RFP. To do that appropriately, get all the people returning their information, go through those, assess them, get with the vendor, and negotiate an agreement. So we did an emergency procurement. What we did is we had 3 vendors ask to be considered in the procurement last time in the request for proposals. So we had 3 vendors. We chose one of them, obviously, that is going out. So we called the other 2 that were still on there because it's just been a year. So we found out that that's probably the best way to do it. And legally, that gives us a leg to stand on, that, we didn't just go pick Dave's healthcare service, because he's my brother-in-law or something.
Sure.
So we went to the previous 2, reassessed their information, called and asked them what had changed in the year since we talked to them last, and we made a decision to choose one of those 2 that had submitted before. So basically, we moved down the list to the number 2 selection, and then we spent some time negotiating with them. We got our agreement in place, and The legal teams all looked it over and decided it was appropriate. And so we presented that to the commission, and they agreed to go ahead and allow Roadrunner Healthcare to provide our inmate medical services at the Chaves County Detention Service. I don't think it ended up quite a year because the emergency procurement, we wanted to end July 30th so that it renews with each year's budget.
Sure. So you want to line it up with the fiscal cycle.
So I think we put it a little bit less than 12 months,
Okay.
But
for the next year, basically, they're going to be the healthcare providers.
And we will
out
go
there.
out for RFP. This is just an emergency procurement, so that just covers our bases until we can, do it appropriately. And so, we still have to follow all the laws and procurement, even though we very carefully navigated the way we were going to do that. We still want to go right back to the drawing board with an RFP and ask.
So you're going to rebid out for the
Right.
thing, start from scratch again. But we've got something in place,
Which
gives
in
us
place
time
that
to vet
gives us
everything out.
time. Yeah.
It may well be the company that's doing it now, depending on how they put their bid in and everything else.
That often happens just that way. I mean,
Gotcha.
it's like a chance to evaluate somebody in action.
Sure.
So they're going to be there. They're going to be providing the health care. We're going to know their abilities inside and out. So,
sure. But basically, give you a chance to reset the race here and kind of,
right.
All right, we've got something in place, and that gives us time to really vet and do our due diligence here.
Right.
And then we're going to say a year from now, we're going to have it locked in place for the next yearly contract. And maybe it's the company now, but it might be a different company, and we'll kind of do what we're doing now and renew it every 4 or 5, every year for 4 or 5 years to make sure everyone's still happy with the agreement.
Yeah, I believe it's up to 4 years. I don't believe we can go 5, but I'm not an attorney, so I could be wrong.
Sure.
And we have a young lady that we hired as our procurement specialist. We've been very fortunate since I've been at Chaves County. We've had some amazing people in procurement. That is, again, kind of like wilderness area. It's very black and white. You can either do it or you can't.
Sure.
It's either legal or it's illegal. And so I always have their back. But we had Sandra Rodriguez before. She was excellent. Before that, we had Tammy, and now we have Anna Nieto, and she's doing a wonderful job, fully credentialed when we hired her. She's actually even assisting Eddy County because they were on the search for a procurement officer, and she assisted them with that process, helped them to find a procurement officer, but is still assisting them along the way as they get up to speed. And so we're very fortunate to have some really good staff. And it's not just Anna. We've got good staff everywhere, but Anna is getting the
one of
shout
many
out
that
today.
are doing it. Good deal.
Yeah.
Well, we've talked about how amazing the county employees are, and you see every commission meeting, or at least once a year, you have your meeting, and there's always people 30 plus years that have been a part of the community or the county.
Well,
and
speaking of amazing, I'm going to interrupt you because I don't know how much time we have
We're
left.
almost out of time.
But I want to be sure I get this one in. Speaking of county staff, going above and beyond. I've been talking to you for a few months now about detention facility and how that has turned around, and it's remarkable how quickly we are making improvements and getting things back to the way they needed to be done. So we're really glad about that. But not only that, we have staff who understands and has buy-in. Our staff, because one of the things we've talked about here is we want to be more proactive in recruitment and retention of all of our employees, but certainly of our detention officers. They're in focus right now, so we're really working hard. We've raised wages out at the detention facility. We're getting things back to following policies and procedures as they need to be, all those kind of things. Our staff is so happy about it. They created their own video. They scripted it. They acted in it. They did the whole thing. They got it out on social media. I think it was about a week ago.
Okay.
Well, actually, it was Wednesday afternoon at 5 o'clock. By Thursday morning at 7 o'clock, when I went to work for the commission meeting, it already had thousands and thousands of hits.
Nice.
And, I'm an old guy.
It went viral.
Yeah. We always think about things like, well, we'll advertise in the newspaper or we'll do this or we'll do that because, it's kind of the way we did it for my whole
old guard
life.
mentality, yeah.
They put together a video, action-packed, music in it, shows what they're doing, shows their SORT team, which is Special Operations. I don't remember for sure what the SORT stands for.
When stuff goes down, they go in and do stuff.
Yeah. They're like the Navy SEALs of the detention facility.
Special forces of law enforcement or detention, yes.
So anyway, they put together their own video asking people to take a look at going to work for Chaves County Detention. our own staff did that.
Cool.
I mean, they deserve a shout out
Absolutely.
for that. That was really a cool thing.
But it happens to be a
reached
good
a lot
patch
of
for people.
people, and they want people to be coworkers with them. They want.
Sound like a fun group of people to work with.
So that was pretty cool. So
Yeah.
I was really excited to see that.
It's always good when you see people
We also
motivated
had a
in their
job
job.
fair on Friday all day long. I was out of town most of the day, but I did get back, and they were still reaching out to a few people. I think they made some hires for detention at
Good.
that facility. They had their video playing on the screen over there to the side. So, but we have lots of opportunities for people to go to work at the county. It is a great place to work. We have
Absolutely.
great benefits. So if you're looking for a job and listening to the radio today,
Absolutely.
it's your lucky day. Come to Chaves County and we'll work on getting you hired.
Great benefits, great retirement. It's really a great opportunity to do that. So please apply, and like you said, with leadership and everything going there, it's a really good place to work right now. So please
It
come
is.
by there and do it. So
I know we packed a lot in, but we hit the high points definitely. So.
yes, we got a lot in, and as always, appreciate your visit here, and I know always too, if we ever get something big and you want to come on, as well as I do, we can devote that outside of our normal stuff.
Well, I felt real bad that I had to miss on Friday our scheduled day, but this was a very important meeting, and you graciously made a place for me. Because I
anytime.
hate it when I have to totally miss. And I like to get it as close as possible to the date that we did it. So Monday worked out pretty good. Thank you.
Anytime, and
I got to learn about Sean's ice cream.
Yeah, you sure don't want to stick around for some of that?
No, and I don't want Chipotle Ranch ice cream either.
This is the part I'm like, why'd I get in the radio? All right, it is.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We have just enough moist air available for some showers and thunderstorms by later on today. Pretty hot again. We'll be in the upper 90s, mostly sunny. And then tonight, scattered showers and thunderstorms with low 70s. Wednesday looks about the same. Showers and thunderstorms will be possible again in the afternoon, and we'll stay in the low 90s and partly sunny. Sunny and mid 90s Thursday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Your home for Kim Commando in Roswell. 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Former president says he will surrender on Thursday, face charges that he tried to overturn the outcome of the 2020 presidential election in Georgia, all because he had openly challenged the results. Indiana has a new abortion law.
The near-total ban took effect after the state Supreme Court rejected an appeal from Planned Parenthood and the ACLU. The law bans nearly all abortions with very limited exceptions. Abortions will be allowed when a mother's life or health is at serious risk. Also in cases where a fetal anomaly is known to be lethal for the unborn child. There's also an exception for rape and incest, in which case the abortion must take place less than 10 weeks after the pregnancy begins. Bob Agnew reporting.
A federal appeals court is allowing Alabama to enforce a ban on the use of puberty blockers and hormone treatments for youngsters. For as long as it takes, that's how long President Biden says the federal government will be there to help Maui residents rebuild their lives following the devastating wildfires. The president and the first lady have toured the fire-ravaged island.
Jill and I have what's left, walked Front Street, what's left of it. We've surveyed the damage from the air as well. The devastation is overwhelming.
Authorities on Maui say more than 800 people are still listed as unaccounted for, and the death toll now stands at 115. The cleanup getting underway in Southern California, pounded by its first tropical storm in more than 80 years. Tropical Storm Hillary washed out roads, also unleashing mud and rock slides before moving north, impacting parts of Oregon and Idaho, among other states, but no deaths or serious injuries were reported. On Wall Street, the Dow is down 13 points, while the NASDAQ is trading 26 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Current events are unfolding like it's right out of
Here's
the
an
book of
important
Revelation.
message from the
threat of
Diabetes
AI
Solution Center.
to genocide,
Do you like pricking your
wars,
fingers to
man-made
test your blood
bioplagues,
sugar
everything
levels?
prophesied
No
in the
one
Bible
does.
looks like
But
it's happening
important
now.
to maintain
After
your health.
speaking to
And
Christian
now,
leaders
by
from all
wearing
over
a
the
small
world, I
remote
believe the next
device
step
called a
is a
continuous
man-
glucose monitor, or CGM, you don't need to prick your fingers anymore. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now. And if you have Medicare or most major insurance coverage, you may be able to get a new CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free, and we'll even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how to end the painful finger sticks and get your own continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
Plans to start releasing treated radioactive water from the damaged Fukushima nuclear plant on Thursday, discharging more than 1 million tons of the water into the Pacific.
The plan has been signed off by the UN's nuclear watchdog, which concluded that the impact on people and the environment would be negligible. But still, this has caused uproar in neighboring countries, with China the most vocal opponent. South Korea, however, has endorsed the plan and has accused protesters here and the opposition of scaremongering. Both China and South Korea already ban seafood that comes from around Fukushima, and the local Japanese fishermen fear that the reputation of their products will now be forever tainted.
The BBC's Gene McKenzie. Major wildfire burning out of control in northeastern Greece for a fourth day, prompting evacuations of a city hospital and another 8 villages overnight. News and analysis, townhall.com. As supplies tighten, the price of a crucial food staple for billions of people around the globe is soaring.
Countries worldwide are scrambling to secure rice after a partial ban on exports by India cut global supplies by roughly a fifth. Global food security is already under threat since Russia halted an agreement allowing Ukraine to export wheat, and the El Nino weather phenomenon hampers rice production. Now rice prices are soaring, and it's putting the most vulnerable people in some of the poorest nations at risk. Keith Peters reporting.
San Francisco's Roman Catholic Archdiocese has filed for bankruptcy, arguing it's necessary to manage more than 500 lawsuits alleging child sexual abuse by church officials. The church says a Chapter 11 filing will halt all legal actions against the Archdiocese, allowing it to develop a settlement plan with abuse survivors. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The devil listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 2.
The Deuce
of Mornings with Mike Winters. Right you on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Tuesday, everybody.
Yeah.
Hope your Tuesday's going well. So I spent time on the internet reading all the post comments on the football game last night.
Mm-hmm. All the X's.
Well, it just a lot of it's funny. And this is why fans are idiots. I've been seeing nothing for the last month about people talking about how Sam Howell isn't the answer, and how Sam Howell is this and that. And all I see in there today, same people. Sam Howell, he could be our guy. Like everybody, I'm like,
oh, now you buy it.
Yeah. I've been telling people for months this guy since last year when I first saw him. I said this guy is different than them other ones, and it's just funny the people's comments and things, and I'm just, it's like fans are so stupid. Yeah, they just and that's the fanatic side, and I get it.
It's the jump on board the bandwagon side of things. Yeah. You don't want to be the silly outsider, so you jump on board the bandwagon.
Yeah. The other thing that was a big deal last night was the new owner, Josh Harris. He had a segment with Clay. I was about to say Clay and Buck.
Yeah.
Buck and Aikman. Mm-hmm. That's what I meant to say.
He was on the Clay and Buck show yesterday.
Yeah, Joe Buck, not right. Buck Sexton. But Joe Buck and Aikman, and there's an awkward moment where Joe Buck's doing his talking, and he puts a hand out, like this, and Josh Harris, it looks kind of like
a handshake.
He was throwing out, and so Josh Harris went in to shake it, and then he started going on to his gesture. And so everyone's like, "Oh, that was awkward." And
just wanted to hold
and
hands
then you kind of see Aikman in the video clip just kind of do one of those smiles and then keep moving on while it's going on. I'm gonna take a stab here. I think our owner was drunk. I think just the way he was answering, he was happy and stuff. Though he's talking, but he was sitting there in the stands watching with the game. He was literally at a game like a fan. And I think he's about 6 beers in when he's in there doing that interview, because he's not like inappropriate or nothing, but how
the first move the owner of your team pulled was to buy 3,000 people a beer. So I'm not surprised if he was a few sheets to the wind.
It was just the way he was kind of like his answers are even that they weren't bad. They were, but it almost had like, oh, we're just here having a good time, and you know what I mean? It was just like, I'm pretty sure he was sauced. Which, hey, he's got a ride home. I don't care.
I'm trying to remember who it was. It's a famous clip.
Yeah.
Fur coat, dude in the field, just hammered. Give me a kiss. What was that? Was it
It wasn't Namath, was it?
It was Namath.
Namath was known for wearing the fur coats back in the day.
I can't remember exactly what it was. I have to go look up the clip, but it's one of the more famous ones from Monday Night Football.
Okay.
He's sauced and tossed, and he's like, there's a woman who's trying to interview him about like the legacy of the team. He's like, I want to talk about the game.
That sounds like a Namath move. That sounds like a Joe Namath move. So
it might have been Namath.
He could get away with that back there, and he was. That's the man who wore pantyhose on in a commercial. In a time when that was one of the other. I mean, he won the one lone Jet Super Bowl, so he's a god in jetdom. Now they're all comparing your boy
Aaron Rodgers
to him now.
Yeah,
but
you can have our sloppy seconds.
But by the way, the new Hard Knocks comes on tonight, which I do. I'm enjoying these Jet ones. Be honest, I'm liking Rodgers more now. Like seeing him on there and talking and interacting, and the MO on him is he's a little weird.
Yeah, but he dove full force into Hollywood. He embraced the celebrity of the whole thing.
Yeah, but when you watch the Hard Knocks and watch him and how he interacts with people on the field and all that, it's different.
It is.
It's different than everyone talks in the hype, and you're like, he seems like a real nice dude. Like, I want to hang out with him.
As long as he finds himself a decent receiver and they can continue to make connections, he can do exactly what he did in Green Bay in New York. But
they keep bringing people over from him, like an offensive lineman, Dalvin Cook, the running back for the Minnesota Vikings. He's luring people. I think there's a wide receiver they're luring. What's his name? Used to play with the Packers forever. He's like 38, 40 now, wide receiver. Randall Cobb.
Oh yeah, Cobb. Yeah,
he's there. He's high. He's he's there, and I'm sure he's not making a big impact on the team other than leadership. But
so we're just the Green Bay Jets now. Is that
there's a few of them out there? Yeah, there's a lot of people that are now wanting to play for the Jets because Aaron Rodgers.
Well, let me just take this opportunity to say, good luck to you, sir.
Discount double check. They stopped doing that. They don't do that anymore.
No, they've moved on.
I think the wrestlers got mad or something.
That was okay. So discount double, was that State Farm?
Yeah, it was.
Now they moved on to Jake. It's Jake's their new thing. Which that's.
But I thought they incorporated Jake in the discount double check.
I don't think they ever did. That was a couple of campaigns ago. That's kind of infuriating. The original ad campaign with the guy calling, or talking to overnight.
Oh,
or
about
late
the pants
night.
and
the khakis.
Yeah.
That guy, Jake from State Farm, the original, was actually Jake from State Farm. He was a State Farm employee that won the opportunity to be in the commercial.
Oh.
Then they got rid of him and replaced him with an actor.
Actor Jake. He's probably not named Jake.
Yeah, I'm sure he's not. But that's just.
I would be fine with that.
Gone with actual Jake.
I'm fine with that, but I want a residual check every time actor Jake from State Farm comes on there. I want a cut.
I got to imagine he's got some kind of deal established.
I bet he does, and he probably works for State Farm. And he works at their tell-all center or whatever somewhere, and
pay khakis.
They're like, we're not going to turn him into Jared from Subway. Yeah. We all know what happened.
We don't want to do that. Let's not turn out another one of those.
Yeah.
We can't hire everyman spokespeople anymore. They can't be trusted.
Yeah, not such a good idea. But got a full slate for you.
Yes.
Elliot Rodriguez is going to join us here with Loan Depot in just a few minutes. Give us an update on what's going on in his world. Talk housing and talking that, and of course, if you're wanting to be a first-time home buyer or looking in there, that's his jam. That's his. He loves working with first-time home buyers, things like that. So,
if
you're interested, you might want to stick around for this conversation.
A couple of gassy boys.
Yeah,
had one come. You had one come. Gassy boys.
Yeah. So, but definitely, I want to tune into that interview if you are in the market or looking right now.
Tis a buyer's market right now.
Yeah. Something else I was going to mention. It just completely slipped my mind.
It's the hat, man.
It might be. Oh, don't forget. Guy Penrod. See that thing right there?
Yes.
Next Thursday is the concert.
Doggone. 1
week from Thursday. At Grace Community Church. Tickets are available right now at Grace Community Church, where you can go to artesiaartscouncil.com. There are still general admission tickets left. There are not a whole lot left, but there are some left. The VIP Golden Circle tickets are sold.
Those is gone.
But we have the the general admission and all that, and so you can get your tickets online. Artesia. Geez, I'm just really blowing it. Roswell Museum, RoswellHistory.org. You can also go to Grace Community Church and pick up your tickets there. So definitely want to pick those up.
I believe their site is gracechurchroswell.com.
Is it? Right there?
So, yeah.
I believe you can't use cards, but I think they do cash. Check. Don't quote me on that. I'm not sure.
They also accept your firstborn. You'll get them back, just later.
Yeah, and I got tickets to sell too.
I actually
for American Legion gun raffle
need to get a hold of Miss Amy because she has some tickets set aside for me. I'm not going to be able to make it to the concert, so I want to make sure she blesses someone else with those.
Okay, you're going to give them to somebody that will enjoy the show.
There you go.
I'm going to be emceeing, by the way. I'll be there.
Yeah.
I'll be there.
Be side stage eating up all the lobster tail.
Yeah, I'm going to be sitting there standing ugly next to Guy Penrod while women swoon at him, and I'll be like, "Who's that ugly troll next to him?" That would be me.
I wonder what the crafty is like at a Guy Penrod show. Got to imagine a lot of hand snacks.
I imagine
stuff you could just toss a handful of in your mouth and move on.
I don't know. Could be
finger sandwiches or something.
He's got family in town, so I'm going to go because he lives in Tennessee and he's from New Mexico. He's here. It's going to be green chili centric, whatever it is. He's going to want his hankering when he's in his native land.
Oh yeah, you got to scratch the itch
to do that. Yeah, so. We'll see. But it is next Thursday. Get your tickets right now. It's officially the procrastinator's time.
Yep.
For you last-minute shoppers out there that like to do their stuff at the last minute.
Wait, you said next Thursday?
Yes.
It's not the procrastinator's time yet, Mike.
It is in my world.
Wednesday. Wednesday is the procrastinator's time.
Yeah,
that's when the true procrastinator comes out.
That's when you guys sit out on the sidewalk, scratching your chin and going, and we got tickets.
It is one of those things where you're like, oh, it's way too hot to be out here doing this, but I have to get it done today, or crud. Okay, fine. But that's the price we pay.
There you go. But just go there now. You don't have to worry about
it. That gets me itchy. I can't do it. If I'm prepared for something, I'll tell you. Okay, I'll give you a prime example. I paid for an online streaming event that's happening next week, but I paid for it like 2 weeks ago. It's been bugging the bejeepers out of me that I'm not going to get access to it until then.
My Sunday tickets I get. Like I bought it, but I'm like for instance, the Dallas game, you couldn't watch it on Saturday on regular TV. It wasn't available anywhere. My wife wants to watch it, and I couldn't do it because my Sunday ticket doesn't kick into the regular season.
Oh,
and
I do have a question for you on that.
Yeah.
When you pay for Sunday ticket, do you get your games commercial free?
No.
See, that feels like a ripoff.
To be honest, I'm assuming no, but with DirecTV Sunday ticket, I did not. You basically get the CBS or Fox feed that's showing the game.
Right.
Through DirecTV.
One of the best feelings in the entire world is when an announcer says, "We'll be back. We're going to keep it going in picture." And then you get to keep watching.
Sometimes
That's
they do
the
that.
Coolest thing in the world.
They do that in Fox Sports games. I notice a lot. They'll go to a commercial break and then they'll put the game like in the corner if the show it's usually during a break.
Sure.
They'll show
usually during like timeout or something.
But if they're only going away for 30 seconds or a minute, then they'll do that sometimes. But if it's a full break,
that's like the last bastion of that. When you used to get like the satellite feeds of a newscaster before he went live, when he's like, "All right, go ahead and cut me on to camera 3." That's when you get to hear kind of the weird backstage jargon.
Yeah, when the DirecTV did the Sunday ticket, and I'm sure YouTube's going to be the same way. It's literally they just take all the regionalized Fox and CBS broadcasts and allow them on your TV. Sure. So it looks just like what you're watching on Fox or CBS or ABC or whatever. On your respective channel and your local game.
And that is also another fun thing is sometimes when I'm watching something through like a Canadian channel, I'll get like ads for like a Canadian law firm, or the thing at the bottom will say .ca. A bunch of ads for Tim Hortons, stuff like that. Yeah. Or like I'll get like New York 9.
Donuts.
Yeah, New York News 9 will have like an ad or something like that. Those are always fun. Just like a little peek into somebody else's world.
It's like you're living in Letterkenny.
Kind of. Yeah.
Ayla Rodriguez with Lone Depot going to join us here. Probably should get the hour going. It is 19 minutes after 8 o'clock. Let's take a look at your weather, see if they're saying there's a chance of rain, but it's how it is. So there are numbers on the board.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We have just enough moist air available for some showers and thunderstorms by later on today. Pretty hot again. We'll be in the upper 90s, mostly sunny. And then tonight, scattered showers and thunderstorms with low 70s. Wednesday looks about the same. Showers and thunderstorms will be possible again in the afternoon, and we'll stay in the low 90s and partly sunny. Sunny and mid-90s Thursday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 76 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 40%. Winds currently out of the northeast at 3 miles per hour. There is a 20% chance for afternoon showers and thunderstorms after 3 p.m. today. Sunny, hot, high near 98. So not 100. That's good. North winds 5 to 15 miles per hour this afternoon. 30% chance of showers and thunderstorms mainly before midnight tonight. Mostly cloudy with an overnight low of 72 degrees. Southeast winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. Wednesday, we're looking at a 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms. Mostly sunny, 95 for a high on Wednesday. East winds 5 to 10 miles per hour, 10 to 15 for the afternoon. 20% chance for Wednesday night. Partly cloudy, overnight low of 70. Winds out of the south, 5 to 15 miles per hour. Thursday, sunny and 95. Friday, sunny and 99. Weekend, sunny and 100 on Saturday. 20% chance of rain Sunday, mostly sunny and 96. All right, it is 21 minutes after 8 o'clock. We're going to take a 3-minute commercial break, and then we'll talk with Elliot Rodriguez from Lone Depot on the other side. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
It's upgrade season at Roswell Honda. Pre-owned vehicles are in incredibly high demand, and that means more than ever before for your trade. And with the Roswell Honda upgrade program, they'll go the extra mile for you. They'll buy your vehicle outright, or you can trade up, even if you still owe money on your old vehicle. Upgrade to something new, or take the instant cash. And with 0.9% APR available, lease a 2023 Honda Civic or CR-V for just $259 a month. Now's the time to upgrade and save at Roswell Honda, 2177 West 2nd.
You've heard of a Four Seasons room, but have you heard of a Four Seasons window? Jennifer here from Trustmark Roofing and Windows. It might surprise you to learn many windows are built to handle only the cold or only the heat, but not both. In Southeast New Mexico, one or the other doesn't cut it. That's why Trustmark windows are built to handle our Four Seasons climate. The scorching summers, the bone-chilling winters, and everything in between. Special glass coating blocks extreme UV rays. A stout frame prevents warping from the extreme weather changes. And insulated glass is like putting your home in a giant styrofoam cooler in the winter and keeps cold out and warmth in. And in the summer, it keeps heat out and cool in. For our Four Seasons weather, get Four Seasons windows. Call today for your no-obligation spring window assessment, 575-755-7663, or visit TrustmarkRoofPros.com.
Trustmark Roofing, we put people first.
Wakefield Oil Company is a name you can rely on with full service at the pump the way it used to be. You can expect service in just 15 seconds. They offer bulk fuel and oil services and even diesel exhaust fluid. Wakefield Oil Company will deliver to farms, ranches, dairies, the oil fields, and more with dependable service you can count on. So the next time you need service or delivery, go with the name that locals have trusted since 1983. Wakefield Oil Company, 311 South Virginia in Roswell. Let them earn your business.
It's Big O's Big Deal Event, August 21st through September 17th. Get a $110 rebate on sets of 4 Michelin Cross Climate 2 tires, or $70 rebate on all other Michelin lines, plus an additional $70 rebate on installation of select sets of 4 Michelin tires. Big O Tires, the team you trust. Installation charges extra. Required on all 4 tires. Not valid with other offers. Disposal fees and shop fees extra where permitted. Void where prohibited. See rebate form for terms and conditions. Additional retailer offer advertised within is independent from the manufacturer's offer.
At Anderson Bethany Funeral Home and Crematorium, we honor and pay tribute to the achievements of your loved one by celebrating the life you shared together. Anderson Bethany Funeral Home and Crematorium is compassionate and cares about our local community and the families we serve here in southeastern New Mexico. Locally owned and operated, we will be here to help you decide how to celebrate the bond you've shared and pay tribute to the unique individual you've lost. Visit us at 2609 South Main in Roswell or call 622-5888.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. 1 in 3 snake bite victims is drunk. 1 in 5 is tattooed. Hold my beer and check this out. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 24 minutes after 8 o'clock. And joining us in studio this morning, Elliot Rodriguez back with us with Loan Depot. Morning, Elliot. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. Good morning. Good morning, Roswell.
Of course, if you're not familiar, Elliot joins us once a month, and he is the guy. He's not a real estate agent, so he's not the guy that's going to help you find the house. He's
sometimes.
Well, yeah, you never know, but that's not his trade.
Nope.
Yeah, he may stumble upon one just like everybody else does, but his trade is that he's the guy that gets you the money to pay for the house. And so, I say this every time because this is Elliot's kind of niche thing. Yeah, he loves working with first-time buyers. And his dream is to get people in their dream and getting them into their home. So he loves kind of mentoring and working with first-time home buyers to kind of show them the ropes on the ins and outs of what you should do and what you shouldn't do when it comes to buying your first home. And of course, don't get me wrong, he works with everybody. If you bought 60,000 homes or this is your first one, Elliot will take care of you. But I think he gets a little special spot in his heart when he sees the family with their first time home and they get the keys and they get that chance to walk in the door and say this is ours and no one else's. And that's what he does it all, but that's kind of your special spot.
No, you're right. You're right. Because let me tell you something. Last week I did a closing for this lady that if we can say we got some hiccups here and there, it happens.
Sometimes
it happens.
Sometimes when the struggle's a little harder than normal, it makes the payoff a little sweeter.
I know. She's like, it's very funny. She's like, I'm so sorry, Elliot, that I was so difficult. And I'm like, it's okay. To me, she wasn't being difficult.
Sure.
It was just something a little known.
Sure. It was a bit of a challenge.
It was
for
a little
you.
challenge.
Yeah.
It wasn't normal like every day.
Sure.
But to me, what is normal anyway lately? So.
Well, and I imagine you find the fun in, all right, let me work this and let me see what I can do to make some magic here. And you just had to do this one on this particular one a little bit more than others.
But when these little things happen like this, is the part that I love the most.
Sure.
Because let me tell you, I guess, the animal in me, like I like a challenge at the same time too.
Sure.
So it's funny. And
let's face it, you're in a business where there's a lot of money exchanging hands, and it's really
there's
easy
a lot
to
of
get
different things.
It's really easy to get lost in that stuff, the numbers and the X's and O's. So when you get to see the human element and see what happiness was given because of all the X's and O's and minutia you're going through, and it makes people's heads swim. And then when they look, at the end of the day, I just want to be able to say this is my house. And when you're able to make that happen through all that nonsense, it's rewarding.
No, I mean,
it's awesome.
It was. I mean, the way I look at it, and then I even got an email like 1 or 2 days afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
She actually sent me an email to me and my staff, saying how grateful she was.
That's awesome.
I mean, and it's still apologizing again. Oh, sorry, I was being so difficult. I was a little frustrated. So, wish I can say all the names and stuff like that.
Sure.
So another lender tell them to do something that no way in God's name.
So they got some bad advice.
They got some very bad advice. I don't know if the lender just had a hiccup,
Okay.
Because let's be honest, we're human beings.
Sure.
I'm not going to be evil and say everybody's so bad out there. The fact of the matter is, this is lending 101 and should have never been tell her to do that.
Well, experience is the thing in the world, and people that have been doing it a while tend to know more ins and outs than someone that's newer to the industry.
I was just surprised because it's a big company.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of my bigger competitors. Okay, so it's like, hey, here we go. I felt like Rocky Balboa in the end of the fight. Boom! I just took you down.
Taking one of the, taking on the clients of one of what you deem like a bully.
Exactly. Like you did wrong to these people. No, when she told me all that stuff, it's like, oh my, no, you cannot do that. So it was very difficult for her, and we think outside the box, try to figure out a few things, but it was something very complicated.
Sure.
And then there was something that I give her a very simple answer to fix the problem, and she couldn't do that. And doing the same idea of what I was doing, between me and her, put ourselves together and like, yeah, you could do this, you could do that. We just have to be able to prove it.
Sure.
And that was complicated as heck.
Oh,
it's like, holy crap. But anyway, I remember her telling me, she was being frustrated about the loan that she took. So, So another lender told her to take a loan, to take money. You can't do that. Folks out there.
So it ended up getting her kind of in trouble and getting the house.
Well, it just make it difficult. The numbers were fine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It was the money that the person had to be able to do what needs to be done. You can't use it. So no, you cannot go and, folks, listen real careful. You cannot go and take a loan to do a mortgage loan. It doesn't work that way.
So you have money down for a down payment.
Yeah, you cannot do that.
You can't take a loan on that.
There's rules in place because, if I can get you approved, now you cannot even use that money.
Right.
There's rules in place for a reason, folks. So please do not do that. Now, if you have a car loan or something like that, that's a little different.
Well, and ideally, putting down payment on a house is your good faith side with your lender. That's generally why that's done that way.
And that's why you cannot take a loan because basically you tell him the lender, whoever's company it is, I didn't prepare myself to do it.
Yeah.
Give me a loan anyway.
It's your commitment to the process. Like this is the kind of thing that the lenders look at to say, okay, we're going to approve them. They're going to be in the house in a month. Time to make the first payment, and they disappear.
No, but with her help, because the fact of the matter, folks, it's a team effort. I don't do everything by myself. If you don't follow my lead and do what I ask you to do, then I cannot do it either way.
Sure.
I mean, I can have the best I can't even say English. I can have the best intentions in hand.
Sure.
And it don't matter if you don't follow my lead.
It's no different than a sports team. If the coach says run this play and everyone runs a different play and it doesn't work, you can't blame the coach. He said, that's not the play you should have run. I should have ran this play.
I know the Cowboys are not having that problem now. They're actually listening. No, anyway, that was good. Yeah. But I know, she was the funniest thing is, the finger blaming game started for a moment, and I told my borrowers like, no, don't put that this way.
Mm-hmm.
I've been trying to overcome this, and she knew what I was saying, and the funniest thing is there was a lot of things were going on that week, and she was telling me, oh, this is happening, I'm going to be homeless. And to me, that's like put Elliot in gear even farther.
Mm-hmm.
That's like, we cannot have this. What is it? You're not going to be homely on my watch. So my staff and I, we put ourselves together with her, and I'm very impressed. My team just delivered what I asked them to do.
Good deal.
And it was the funniest thing. And this lady sending me, she was real grateful already at the closing, first of all.
Sure.
But getting the email after the fact is why I love what I'm doing.
Sure. Well, and it goes back to the point we were talking about before. It's people that are trying to do the right thing but got bad advice or didn't know any better, and now they're in a pickle. And you're there saying, "Well, let me help you. Let's do this." And guess what? And here's the thing: a lot of mortgage lenders and stuff wouldn't waste their time with that because they're like thinking, especially, and I have no idea how much money she was investing, but
it was not a big loan.
But
if
this person's getting $100,000 house compared to, and some big company sees this is, I got to go through all the steps, and at the end of the day, we're just loaning them $100,000. I'm out. I'm waiting for the half
I think almost
million.
every company will go for it. I think it's just the lender itself, like the local individual that you may be dealing. Maybe feels like, it's too much of an effort.
It's not worth their time.
It's too much of an effort.
So they're not going to dedicate themselves to it.
And that's bad because you know what? Technically speaking, that's illegal, by the way.
Right.
Okay. You're not supposed to be putting things to the side, not thinking care of people.
It's a salesperson mentality.
Exactly.
As I'm a guy who works in radio. I'm not a salesperson directly, but we deal with, and indirectly I am. But salespeople are the same way. It's like, hey,
true.
I've got it. I've got an appointment. One guy's spending $5,000 a month. The other's spending $200 a month. I'm going to the guy spending $5,000 a month, not the one going $200.
Well, I have an assistant, and she's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay? And she came with me from where I came from. They were stupid enough to let her go. You did me a favor. I don't have to wait.
Yeah.
Anyway, so she was going to come and follow me anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact of the matter is, we talk about doing deals for people. And sometimes you have those $500,000 deals that is very simple.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have this $100,000. Actually, I just did a deal not too long ago for $67,000. I'm actually going to close the deal today for $75,000, folks. And I still treating the customer like he's $1 million customer.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's why these people
and that's
come
why
back.
I do what I do.
When the next time they're like, okay, now I can buy a $150,000 house. Yeah.
So I was talking about her. It's like we do the same effort on everything, and in the long run, it will pay off.
Yeah.
And people are grateful, and they'll tell their brothers and sisters. Folks. Everybody's going through craziness right now, okay? There's stuff happening overseas. There's stuff happening at the West Coast. It was north in Canada before. Now, it's one thing after the other. The guy in the radio was talking like it feels like the end of times of what it says in the Bible, okay? Well, that's been like that for a long time, folks. Okay?
My whole life.
The Bible doesn't lie. It's just been telling you, and it just doesn't know how facts that the time. What is it? It's like my wife say, Elliot's not good with timing, I'm just like Jesus and God. Just he's coming, but you just don't know when. the 1 minute is really maybe a whole decade,
Time's a construct.
Exactly. It's just gonna happen no matter what. That's the way I look at it. No, but in the end of the day, it's just about taking care of customers.
Sure.
And if you do the right thing,
you treat people well, then they're gonna respond to that.
There's a lot of guys. I hear this all across the board. All kinds of companies and everything. All that they're not doing good and this and that, and that the applications numbers are lower. And this, okay. I always say that we're in a bubble.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Roswell is in a bubble because we're a totally different animal than everybody else, to be honest. But I don't think so. I think it's just what we take care of customers because I'm doing business in Albuquerque just the same as here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm doing a little more here because I'm a local guy. Okay, and I like to take care of customers here more than ever. And
let's face it, you do a lot of face-to-face stuff, and you don't want to be driving to Albuquerque every day.
No. I think that's probably why I'm so tired because I was in Albuquerque Friday and then I came back the same day.
Yeah, until we have the transporters like Star Trek, man.
I know. I'm waiting for that. It's like, come on, Captain Kirk, get this stuff going. No, but You have to be careful what somebody else is telling you. And we talked about this before. A lot of people come to me all the time telling me, "Oh, I couldn't buy a house. I haven't been able to buy a house forever." It's like, why? You know? And I'm not saying, folks, that you're gonna come to me and I'm gonna say yes ever. You know? I tell people sometimes, if you do this, then I can tell you yes.
Sure.
Okay? But in the end of the day, I take a lot of stuff that other companies kind of mess up.
Sure.
Let's put it just like that.
Put it this way, if you're making a rent payment right now, then you can afford a house payment.
That is very true.
You just got to get your credit right to get someone to loan you the money.
And because you don't have a lot of money in the bank doesn't mean you cannot buy a house.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? You just have to be guided by the right individual that actually is going to have the patience to actually talk to you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I have so many customers that I still need to follow up on. That is crazy. I mean, I swear, like before COVID,
Mm-hmm.
okay, when I was in my other company, till after COVID, it never slowed down to me. And then after COVID, it got crazy. And then last year, the market went, it went out of control.
Right.
And folks, it's still not the highest interest rate yet. Okay.
But
I'm not saying this in a good way, like, hey, don't worry about it. And that's not what I mean. What I mean,
if you're waiting for the right time, you're going to be waiting your whole life.
That is true. You cannot, folks. If anybody's listening there and you want to take a good advice, if you qualify to buy a house and you need to buy a home, let's talk. Don't be, oh my God, the market. I'm going to wait.
I'm waiting for the weather to be just perfect to do it.
Yes, it doesn't matter. Me and Mike talked about this about my own sister in Florida, asking me, what is it? When the planets are aligned,
right?
When is the right time? There's no such a thing.
Waiting for the golden light to come down.
It don't work that way.
The time has come, my children. Buy your home.
Like, you're not gonna have the right experience yet. No, it works. Is when you're ready and you can afford it. No matter what's happening in the market, folks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, don't let what is happening in the market stop you from having the dream of your life, which is owning your own home.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the fact of the matter is, when the market gets better, then we can refinance and lower your interest rate even more. Okay, because the fact is, if you buy a house right now that the interest rate is a little higher than we've been used to for the past 5 years.
Sure.
Okay, that means 6 months, a year from now, whatever, you could refinance for lower because that means it'll push you in a better position.
Mm-hmm. Any house is your ticket into the club.
Yes.
Like, you're that guy standing in line.
Get the membership.
Yeah, you're that guy standing in line with a big bouncer sitting there saying you can't go in, and then you see the hot woman walk by and like, look at her. That's why I got in. They're the ones who've already bought a house, and they're in the club. They're going in there.
I like that.
You're the one sitting there paying your rent check, and you're like, I can't get in. They're like, well, we don't. But so even if it's not the right house, that first house is your ticket into the club. Once they say, oh, you got a house? The velvet rope comes by, you walk through, and you're in the club.
I got a new thing. Get your home membership.
It's kind of like that. It really is.
I just got a phone call from a folk that I did a loan in Albuquerque.
Yeah.
Elliot, he called me and left me a message.
Mm-hmm.
And the message just was really like out of control. It's like, what's happening? You already bought your house. It's not like we have an issue that you cannot buy it.
Right.
He's getting a bunch of mail at home, but a bunch of different offers. And he's like, what is all this stuff? It's like, I call him back and like, bud, you're part of the membership.
Yep. You're in the club. That's just it.
So, folks, I'm not making this up. I actually just tell him just that same very thing.
Yeah.
The fact is, now Mike and I talked about this all the time. The moment you buy a house, actually, when you even apply for, you start getting phone calls from everyone.
Oh, yeah.
And like, oh, you're approved. You're not approved to anything.
Right.
Okay? Because how in God's name do they know anything? They don't know nothing. All they know is that you apply.
It's no different than those credit card applications you get in the mail. You're approved for $50,000 credit line. And like,
I remember getting a VA letter that says you qualify for 470 something. And folks, that's all that is that's the approval power that a VA person has.
I used my VA loan to get my house, and I got more people wanting to give me a VA loan after I already got my VA loan.
Is that funny or what? I was like, I get a letter at the house. If you would like to refinance, blah, 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 you qualify. It's like, refinance what? I don't have no mortgage.
People were chomping at the bit to take over my loan process, man. They were,
No, folks. You better be careful what you get in the mail. Especially after you buy a house.
Sure.
Okay? And
you got to be careful because a lot of times they'll talk to you. If you call and you think, like if you're in the process with one, and you mistakenly think you're talking to that one.
And that's like it happens every day.
Yeah.
I got a guy telling me, "Hey, Elliot, you people like my people nothing."
Yeah. That wasn't my people.
I'm the only person you're working with right now, but you're not even talking to my assistant yet.
Sure.
Okay?
But
the way they talk,
especially when you get to online stuff, like if you get email offers and things like stuff through the mail's probably a little different. But when you get the internet stuff,
it's bad.
And they won't tell you like, no, that's not us. We're not Loan Depot,
folks.
We're Loan Despot.
Let me tell you something. We on a technology mayhem.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything. Yesterday, I actually registered my number for I wouldn't say prank calls, but for marketing calls.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because my phone is just blowing up like there's no tomorrow, and I don't know if it's just the company or if it's some kind of bad hack that is happening out there. So be careful, folks, especially the older folks that are actually listening right now. If you get a call and they're talking about Medicare and this and that, the fact of the matter is, guys, almost no government, actually, let me rephrase that. No government agency is going to call you.
No.
Not one. So please do not.
They send everything certified mail.
Yeah,
and
they
stuff
send you
like
something
that.
in the mail, and then you go and talk to these people and you go to their offices, not some kind of place that you don't even know what it is. So don't let people get you in that stuff.
Yeah, when they just call you randomly on the phone saying you're about to lose your insurance or you're about to do something like that, it's a scam.
My unit loan officers in my office listening to me is like, and this is my answers to these people. Am I talking to a person or a machine?
Yeah. Please
respond. If not, take my name off of the list, please. No, what I was saying is, so I had to read.
And if they speak English like broken, that's a clue. Hang
big
up.
Time.
Like
Big
if they're
time.
trying to sell you something official government, the guy can barely speak English, maybe it's time to hang up on that phone call.
No, but I registered my phone for that.
Yeah.
So I don't get no more marketing stuff. I have to put my email. It's like, why do I need to put my email? So I can register to take my telephone number from this. But now I'm going to get emails for that.
Right.
It's the craziest thing.
Yeah.
It's weird. And they even have a disclosure that says, like government agencies and like, political agencies, can reach out to you. It's like, so you even give me disclosure on who's going to call me.
Right. What nefarious things will come from this one? Thank you for that. But that's the
no.
But most people don't even read that stuff. They just go through it and then they wonder why they get inundated with all
folks,
this stuff.
when you buy a house and you get something that says Loan Depot, blah blah blah, your warranty, this and that is canceled, is over, and this and that. You just bought the house.
Right. You can't even download a fast food app without committing to all kinds of legalese and everything else.
I saw a TikTok video about that the guy went to get some kind of like a tea, and it has like some kind of sugar stuff. Like, I don't want the sugar part. And she goes, that's fine, Go ahead and do the app. It's like, I'm face to face right here. Can I give you cash?
It's like, you got tea right there.
She goes, no, I'm sorry, we don't take cash here. But we take cards. And okay, good. So
the tea's right there. The cash is right
and
here.
She goes, you have to download the app so you can order the thing.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah, I'm all for convenience, but we can't take away the ridiculously simple either.
When you go to McDonald's.
I got $1.50 in my pocket. I want a soda. Can I just give you this $1.50 and you give me a soda,
When
please?
you go to McDonald's, are you using your app? It's like, no, I'm in the drive-thru. Hello.
Well, now the app is my friend.
No, but I get it.
Yeah, that
because you already put your order. I
because
get it.
well, here's what, and this is what I hate people do on here, and I've called people out on this. If you're that person with the van full of people and you're going through drive-thru orders, then download the app and pre-do it. That way, when we get up there, you're not alienating 20 people because the guy in the back wants orange soda instead of Sprite, and y'all are fighting for 10 minutes. Sprite, not orange soda.
I seen that. Somebody take forever. It's like, didn't you know what you're going to get by the time you got here?
Either get your butt inside with your little crew, and let them order,
or I do understand the convenience of it. Yeah. I get it, but it has been taken to.
But yeah, you're right. Exactly. I don't want to walk. And it's like, look, I have $5. You have a thing of fries and a sandwich. Can I just give you the $5 and you give me that? And it's like, no, you got to go through here and register for this.
I had an agent that tell me, you don't have a normal app.
Yeah,
I have a website. That's my app.
I would argue that's why Radio Shack is no longer in business. Because if you remember back in the day,
that's a good point.
Radio Shack, you could not buy anything in Radio Shack without giving them your whole life story.
Blockbuster.
Yeah.
Where's Blockbuster?
Yeah.
Do you know that was one of the biggest, movie rental business?
Yeah.
I mean,
well, they screwed up because they didn't go with the time.
But that's true. They needed to adjust a few things.
Yeah, they held it. They held that dead horse.
The red boxes are still around.
They are, and still people go.
I'm surprised about that.
Yeah.
I saw that. It's like they're still around.
I haven't put a DVD in a DVD player in years, but yeah. But
no, I just actually did one last night for a long time. I was like, you know what? I want to see this show without no commercials, no this.
Yeah.
You know what? It's time to put my DVD.
Put it in the DVD. But I don't remember. Like you couldn't even buy an 8-pack of batteries without giving your address, phone number, and all this stuff.
It's getting crazy.
And Radio Shack was notorious for that. And I'm like, they're out of business now. I'm telling you, people were tired of doing that. And that was the reason why. I mean, there's other things, but and we're getting back in that site. And I get for convenience and I get all that, but at the same time, we can't walk away from the fact that say, hey, you're selling coffee. I've got $5. Here's $5. Give me coffee.
No,
Thank you very much.
I mean, everything is changing. I mean, when I came to Loan Depot, the first thing I was like, can I have a normal app? Like I can, brand to my... Yes, that's a good thing. But the fact of the matter is, okay, my company is so big.
Yeah.
Okay. And let's be honest, people retire, quit, or get fired. Okay.
Life happens.
Many different things. And then we'll have 20 million apps out there for that individual that is no longer with us.
So now you have to kind of triage it and fill in the void.
Because I was wondering, and I know there's other things why.
So did you have to play a lot of that when you kind of first started with Loan Depot?
It's a little different, but I have a website which is just the same.
Right.
In some ways actually better because I like my agents to, I like the way I said my agents. Yeah, folks. I'm yours, you're mine. No, I mean partnership is a big deal.
Sure,
okay?
People you work with, your team. Yeah,
that's my team. They're my partners.
Yeah.
Okay, and I mean that with I'm gonna say just like this because the facts are the facts and the way I believe in what I know. There's no lender that's gonna take care of any of you guys out there, customers and agents alike. Okay, because my partners, I take care of my partners. Sure. Okay. I don't do some crazy stuff. Well, but I'll take care of my customers.
It's going
and my
back
partners.
to how you treat your customers. You treat your employees the same way because you want it's not a hard equation. You want people to do things for you, and you want people to you got to be nice and you work with them. If you do that, you find out that everybody works and does things you want to do. The moment you try to go in there being big-headed or being a jerk, it's going to get a lot rougher to get things done.
It's not going to be.
So you treat your employees how you treat your customers, and it turns out everybody's kumbaya.
All right. So the folks that are there that maybe have thought about doing business with me or they haven't yet, and this goes from partners, and when I mean partners, real estate agents or customers that maybe somebody say my name but you haven't done it yet. Do it. Let me tell you something, guys. I will not let you down.
Right.
I got today is Tuesday. I got a couple approved on Sunday night. And let me say like this. This is not advocating for people to call me late at night. Okay?
You're setting yourself
but
up
I'm there. I'm setting myself for failure here. The fact of the matter is I'm here for my customers and my partners. And my partners know this. The cool part about it is that my clients, I think to a certain level, they respect that anyway. So it's not like I'm on Saturday and Sundays at 8 or 9 o'clock or every other day throughout the week taking with customers. Sure. But the fact is that they can.
Sure.
So if there's an emergency or situation that it needs it, guess what? They get taken care of.
Yeah.
The reason why I'm bringing this to attention is very simple. On a Sunday, I took care of people. Okay. Actually, I took care of two
customers on a Sunday?
On the Sunday, okay. Yesterday, I got contracts for both of them.
Nice.
That means the agent, I was able to get their customers approved. The agents, in turn, when I made an offer, because folks, if you're thinking about buying a house, you can't get on the sideline playing like maybe not.
Sure.
When you get approved, you need to start giving me the stuff I asked for you. You need to get moving.
Sure.
There's plenty of houses, but not enough houses. And you're going to like, Elliot, that's an oxymoron, right? What the heck are you talking about? The fact is, there are not enough houses. There's plenty of houses out there, but there are not enough houses because there's too many people going for the same home.
Exactly. There's not enough houses of the type that everybody wants.
I mean,
it's
there's
supply
plenty.
and demand.
And guys, there's still remodeling loans. So if you're trying to go for a $250,000 home and there's one for $200,000,
right?
Hey, maybe we could fix it, okay? And now you still got the $250,000 home, but maybe for $225, it's it. You know,
but then there's people that don't want to do that. They're like, no, I want to buy a home and I want to get in it and live
and that's
in it.
understandable. Because let me tell you something: there's no way in God's name Elliot is buying another house if he's not ready, moving ready. I'm done fixing everybody's houses.
Well, and to be honest, I'm thinking for the most part that's a young person's game. You know what I mean? Like when you get to that point where you established your family, you're well into your career and things. At that point, you're kind of like, I don't want to spend my weekends remodeling kitchens and bathrooms. I want to watch football and live my life and do things. But when you're 20 or a new couple or whatever, it's just you and your spouse, and you're like, the world's your oyster. It's like, let's buy that house that needs a new kitchen, that needs new updating. It needs, it looks like it was a nice house in the 1970s, but it needs to be updated to current times.
I know.
So be it. But and here's the thing: you're going to make out ahead, because if you do that, you bought this house for say $75,000. Because it needed a complete overhaul. Then you overhaul it and you spend, let's say, $50,000 overhauling it. You'll turn around and sell that for probably $200,000 if you did the right upgrades and the right things to it. And so you actually made a ton of money doing that. But that's a lot of late nights of sanding, scrubbing, doing electrical work, plumbing, whatever it takes. So if you don't like, when you get home from work, you like to sit down and watch TV. Might not be the route that you want to go, but if you're willing to do that, and if you're young, then you could really. And this is what Elliot's talking about. It's where you're at in your life. If you're young and starting out, you can be a little riskier because you can do some stuff and willing to do it. But when you get to that point where you're good and settled and all that stuff, but problem is that people are looking for if everyone's. There's plenty of houses for the $70,000 because
nobody's fixing them or whatever.
But if you're willing to do a little work and a little love on there, you're gonna make out like a bandit. Problem is when you got people that are in their 50s, 40s that are established, they're not in that mindset, so they're wanting the $200,000, $300,000, $500,000 houses.
Correct.
And that's what Elliot's talking about. When they do pop up, they're competitive, which means there's multiple people bidding on them.
Exactly.
Which is why on a Sunday night he has to get the ducks in a row so they can get the bid in first on Monday morning and get the winning bid.
I remember one time I was actually on the phone and it was 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And I was actually talking to a customer, not emailing and texting, talking to and I believe my wife is saying, what the freaking guy's name is happening here?
Right.
Get off the phone. I was like, we need to take care of this now.
Sure.
You know what? And you know what? That person is going to appreciate that more.
Sure.
Okay? Because they bought a house and now, like, Elliot went the extra mile for me. Folks, if you've been on the fences thinking about buying a house, and some people have told you in the past you can't, hey, that there's their little phrase, I'm a Mexican, some people say that like because they can, all right? So
right.
If somebody's telling you cannot, maybe you need to start talking to somebody and getting some answers.
Sure.
Because
and that's where you come in, because you're like, you may say, well, you can't out right now, but do this, and this, in 6 months we can get you in it.
But the craziest thing, Mike, is that most of the customers, I will say 8 out of 10, yes, they can. It's just the lenders just didn't do their job.
They didn't want to take the time
exactly
to go because, again...
You have to uncover every stone.
Yeah. Again, it's back to that, is the juice worth the squeeze to them?
Exactly.
And for some of these folks, it's not. For you, you're like, no, that's who I want. I want people that didn't think they could, and now I got them in. That's
I got
what
2
want.
deals going on right now at this very moment that both of the deals were brought into me because the other lender couldn't. And that's local lenders, but folks, I just want to say that loud.
Well, and that's how word of mouth works.
Exactly. The fact of the matter is, this is local lenders that did this, okay? So they brought that to me and like, okay, let me take a look.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, shoot, no problem. Yeah. And the funniest thing is the previous lender, the borrowers actually shared with me the text message they got. And it was a very pathetic message. It's like, why? It was, and I'm going to say it too much, it was around the area like, oh, if you guys came up with another idea, blah, 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 you could have told me, Also, in other words, they go somewhere else and answer how to get it done.
Yeah.
They need to give it to you.
So they're politely blowing you off like,
hello.
I don't want to mess with you.
That is our job, folks.
Yep.
If your lender cannot give you an answer on how to make it work, maybe you should not be a lender. I'm sorry. Okay?
That's kind of what you do for a living.
Simple as that, But no, I mean, folks, don't be afraid out there. what is happening in the market. You know, if you
Absolutely.
want to buy a house, let me help you. You know, Loan Depot is the second largest lender in the United States right now that is not even a bank. Okay, this is huge.
That's
folks.
all they do is find money for people's homes.
Loans for people.
Yeah, and like you said, you get the national backing with all the incentives and things that a large company can do, but you get the local of Elliott being right here, phone call away if you have a question, if you need to meet face to face, no worries, we can do that real easy. That's the difference here. So you get all the convenience of having the big company and the incentives and the deals and the things they can work, but the minutia that you hate of feeling like a number and going through the gauntlet of computer calls and all that goes away because you got Elliott right here with you.
Correct.
So it's there. So reach out to Elliott. I just thought, we got to get through the time here. You can check out his website. Elliott's got his own webpage that you can reach out and learn more about Elliott and all his different accomplishments and things. If you go to loandepot.com and then add / Elliott Rodriguez, all one word. He spells Elliott with one L and a Z at the end.
And one T too.
And one T too. And so that way you just put Elliott Rodriguez, and then you can go and see his website. You can shoot him an email direct, which is Elliott Rodriguez, all same way, one word, at loandepot.com. Shoot him an email, and he'll be happy to talk to you. And if, of course, you want to talk to him, voice, you can always call him at 719. This is his cell, so it'll go wherever he goes. 719-237-4680. Again, 719-237-4680. If you do call the main office, 505-445-2070.
Yeah, just leave me a voicemail.
Leave a voicemail, and you may catch him on it. Yeah, he'll call you right back. But odds are he's out seeing customers and things, so he's probably not sitting behind the desk waiting to take your calls.
And folks, you got to get approved.
Yep.
One of the only things that I'm seeing is that everybody wants to buy a house and they haven't got approved.
Yeah.
And they want to rush everything.
Yeah, get the money,
get
in
approved
hand,
right away, and
then go find your
shopping.
house.
Yes.
It's so much more fun to shop when you already know how much you're good for.
Exactly.
Thank you, as always, Elliott. We'll see you next time.
All right. Thank you for having me.
Anytime. It is 8:58. Quick break before news.
General Hospital offers a variety of services led by experienced licensed therapists, including physical therapy, occupational therapy, and speech therapy. Their multidisciplinary team provides a complete evaluation with the full support of your primary care provider to develop a custom plan to support your personal goals and recovery needs. These treatment plans help manage symptoms, educate patients and their families, and ultimately get back to the activities that
wants
bring
cheap
you joy.
airfare.
Learn more
But
at
where do you find it?
artesiageneral.com/rehab.
There are 3 key phrases that need to be spoken on a regular basis in a healthy marriage. Hi, this is Pastor Troy and Julie Smotherman for The Joy of Marriage.
You know, for over 20 years, Julie and I have been sharing these 3 key phrases, and here they are. I love you, I'm sorry, and I forgive you.
Ephesians 4:32 says, be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other, just as in Christ, God forgave you.
You know, it's so easy to expect others to love us, to say I'm sorry, and to forgive us. But you know, it's really a gift that we give each other. You know, the Bible teaches us we sow and we reap. Sow into your spouse, I love you, I forgive you, I'm sorry. And then you'll reap a harvest in return. Someone has to start the process. Let that be you today so you can really enjoy your marriage.
If you have any questions or would like further information about the Joy of Marriage Ministry, please go to jomconference.com.
No static at all. Your new home for talk radio is KEND Roswell.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Former President Trump has no plans to take part in tomorrow night's debate, saying Americans already know who he is, and since he's so far ahead in the polls, why bother? Reaction from the other candidates? Well, they're piling on.
Former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie accuses the former president of lacking the guts to show up and calling him a coward if he doesn't. A spokesman for the Ron DeSantis campaign says, no one is entitled to this nomination. You have to show up and earn it. Former Vice President Mike Pence has said he looks forward to debating his former boss face to face. Trump has a large lead in the polls and has questioned the need to square off against rivals with low poll numbers. Greg Clugston, Washington.
The legal saga of Mr. Trump, targeted for challenging the results of the 2020 election, will take its next turn in a couple of days in Atlanta.
The former president says he will surrender on Thursday to face charges accusing him of illegally scheming to overturn his 2020 election loss in Georgia. Trump wrote on his social media network that he's going to Atlanta, in his words, to be arrested. The post came hours after court papers said his bond was set at $200,000.
And that's correspondent Norman Hall. Tropical storm warnings posted along the Texas coast from the Mexico border to Port O'Connor. Tropical storm Harold is bringing gusty winds along with heavy rains to areas including Corpus Christi and South Padre Island. President Biden has toured fire-ravaged Maui.
The country grieves with you, stands with you, and will do everything possible to help you recover, rebuild, and respect culture and traditions when the rebuilding takes place.
Mr. Biden now back in Nevada on his latest vacation. Wall Street, stocks mixed. Right now, the Dow down 93 points, while the NASDAQ trading 74 points higher, and the S&P is up 5 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals too.
Call 866-755-5300. That's 866-755-5300. Again, that's 866-755-5300. Call us right now.
200 former Afghan government officials and security forces have been killed since the Taliban takeover 2 years ago.
The report says the most targeted groups of extrajudicial killings have been the former army, police and intelligence forces. The UN documented at least 800 human rights violations between the Taliban's takeover in August 2021 and the end of June this year. UN High Commissioner for Human Rights Volker Turk said in a press release, the report presents a sobering picture of the treatment of individuals affiliated with the former government and security forces. The Taliban-led Afghan Foreign Ministry has dismissed the report, saying it was unaware of any cases of human rights violations committed by Taliban officials or employees. I'm Lawrence Brooks.
Save the Children says about 500 youngsters have died from hunger in Sudan since fighting broke out there in April. News and analysis, townhall.com. A couple of drug makers have been slapped with hefty fines.
The generic drug maker Teva Pharmaceuticals agreed to pay $225 million to settle price-fixing charges related to sales of a widely used cholesterol-lowering drug. The Justice Department said the agreement also requires Teva to divest its business making and selling the drug Pravastatin, a generic version of the brand name medicine Pravachol. Another generic drug maker, Glenmark Pharmaceuticals, agreed to pay a $30 million criminal penalty and to divest its Pravastatin business as well. Keith Peters reporting.
Japan's government says treated radioactive wastewater from the Fukushima nuclear plant will be released into the ocean as early as Thursday. Prime Minister Kishida giving the final go-ahead at a meeting of the cabinet ministers involved in the plan. He instructed the plant operator to start the release, weather permitting. More on these stories, townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The devil listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 3 of Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Tuesday, everybody.
Yes.
Welcome to it. Hope your day is going awesome. Or if not, there's a lot of time to turn it around.
Welcome to the second day of the rest of your life.
Yes. So is tomorrow the third day?
Yes.
All right. So when do you go back to the first day? Sunday?
Mondays.
Monday?
Yeah.
So what's Sunday?
It's actually the 7th day of the rest of your life.
But technically it's the first day of the week.
It's the first day of the week, but by my calendar, it actually works out to the 7th day of the rest of your life.
Ah, very good.
I run it by a Latin calendar.
I just wanted a clarification on that, just to see what the, you know,
Monday is first.
That's true.
So, lunes starts the week.
All right. Luna's Hispanic.
The first dia of the rest of your life.
All I know is it's Tuesday and it's not Monday, and that's better.
And that's all right.
Oh, now I want to sing some Kenny Loggins. I'm all right. Don't bother worrying about me.
Classics. Some classics never die.
You don't realize how much Kenny Loggins made an impact in your life till you start going. It's like, man, that's Kenny Loggins too. Dang. What's Kenny Loggins in my life?
Kenny Loggins really did work through a lot of the 80s cinema.
He's like the soundtrack of the 80s.
Uh-huh. Him, I would say, like Peter Cetera.
Yeah.
Richard Marx.
Yeah, they all.
Although Richard Marx was more like the 80s and early 90s.
Even little Bryan Adams.
I would definitely
be
Bryan
late
Adams.
80s, early 90s too. You know, that whole Robin Hood thing. There was a whole summer where everyone would die for you, if you remember.
I do. I very much do. There was this little girl. I think I've told this story before. There was this girl in our town who would. I guess she had a crush on me or whatever. Mm-hmm. I didn't reciprocate, but she would sing that song to me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't.
You know it's true.
Yeah, it's
everything I do it for you. I die for you. I die for you.
I would die for you.
The radio.
At 12 years of age, I would die for you.
Yeah, that was the summer. Mm-hmm. I die for you, summer.
I'll have to find it, but it's one of the most amazing things ever.
And it's Kevin Costner's fault.
Family Guy did a shot-for-shot remake of the video for Everything I Do It For You.
Oh, yeah?
With Stewie.
Oh. Don't they show the swimming nude butt scene of Kevin Costner in the video?
I think it's referenced.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think it's in the video, too. I think there's the scene where Maid Marian's like secretly watching Robin Hood swim in the creek or whatever. Mm-hmm. And you see Kevin Costner's butt. It was a big deal in the 80s. And I think that made the Bryan Adams video, too.
I think it's referenced. There's the part where he runs through the room of candelabras. Mm-hmm. There's that whole scene, but Stewie's doing it. It's really well done.
Now I want to watch that movie. I haven't seen it so long, but I want to sit down and watch it.
Seth MacFarlane is one of my favorite when it comes to recreations of things because he just does it so well. He, on an episode of American Dad, did a shot-for-shot, several scenes of What's Eating Gilbert Grape.
Okay.
With squirrels. And it is phenomenal.
That movie has another soft spot in my heart. I've seen that movie 1,000 times in the 80s, and I wish I could tell you a story about that movie. I cannot. Not on the radio.
Fair enough. So I'm telling you, this is why we need Mornings with Mike Winters after dark.
I don't even know.
Mornings with Mike Winters nights.
To be honest, I don't even know if this is after dark in the world we live in today.
Oh, okay.
People would be not happy with what I did. Well, I say I. Me and my brother.
Did you go as Arnie for Christmas or for Halloween?
No.
Okay.
I'm just gonna let it go there.
Did you go full Tropic Thunder?
No. We did nothing in terms of in public.
Okay.
We did nothing to people or anything. We just had a collection.
We're just gonna leave it at that.
We just had a collection, and we'll leave it at that.
It's for Mike and his therapist.
Greg Birch, artist Greg Birch, going to join us this hour.
Artist extraordinaire.
Yeah,
Birch.
he's going to give us an update on what he's been up to. I know he's got.
Did you see his latest?
No.
Great.
Is he here?
He's here.
Oh, okay, I haven't seen him talk.
He brought Roy a little something.
I know it was coming. I didn't know if Roy knows yet.
He does, and I was kind of hoping we could have hid the reveal.
Yeah,
but,
so I didn't say nothing because I didn't know if Roy knew. So I just kept it completely silent.
But just wait.
Okay,
wow,
cool.
It's
so
really
Greg's
cool.
gonna because he talked to me last week. Sent me a message. Said, hey, I got one, but he's got some artwork that's going to be on some books and things, some Billy the Kid stuff, and so he wanted to give us an update there. And he did a painting for our boy Roy, and but I didn't know Roy didn't. I didn't know. See, I thought Roy didn't know. I didn't say nothing because I didn't want to be the guy to let the cat out of the bag. But if Roy knows, and Roy, so we'll debut on La Radio, and because that's what we do. We show pictures on the radio, but we do have a video element. You can
Yes, we
watch
do.
it there.
Plus, we'll post it up on Facebook and stuff.
Yes, we do. So
our boy, old Roy.
Yeah. So, and to be honest, I don't want to tell this story on the radio either. But Roy's a little bit of my hero after yesterday.
I do appreciate someone who takes revenge passive aggressively.
Yeah,
and that's
Roy did that
pretty well
yesterday,
played.
and he's a better man for it. And I'm just going to leave it at that because I don't want to.
I think
I can't even change the names to protect the innocent, so I'm just going to leave it at that. But Roy did a hero thing that not all heroes wear capes.
Not all.
And Roy did that yesterday, and I made me
It's
happy.
not so much revenge. It's more from just like a falling down moment, or like a goblin mode kind
You
of.
just had enough. Enough's enough.
And
yeah, Roy went goblin mode.
Yeah, enough's enough. All right, good. Well, Roy, you're not the hero we wanted, but we're the hero we needed at that moment, and we thank you
and
for that.
deserved.
And I wish I could tell everyone the deeds of what you did publicly, but
I will say this.
I'm not going to.
I will say this. If you insist on backing into your parking space, you are a waste of space.
I knew Sean could not resist not putting some info out there.
That's all I'm going to say. I'm just going to say that people who back into parking
But
spaces.
people that know exactly what you're talking about already.
I'm sure. But
and I don't want to avoid that. I
and I
just
don't
want to
think-
go.
See, I always act into the guys that nobody's really listening right now that knows, so we're good.
I say that, and then that blows up in my face every time. You know, you want to guarantee me getting blown up in my face? Do something like that. That'll do it every time. It's just like my football last night. No matter when or where I try to tape a game, someone will ruin it for me. Even when I think I'm in the clear and 5 minutes out, they ruin it for me.
He'll be up in the sky writing. Oh, speaking of, I got to see something really cool over the weekend. I took the kids, like I said, to that all-inclusive park. And we were kind of hanging out, playing, whatever. And we hear overhead a plane fly over. And then I look up, and one of the people in the park points up, and I see what I swear I thought was drones. It was not drones. It was parachuters.
Really?
It was skydivers. And they were coming out of the sky in formation, and they circled around and landed in Cielo Grande.
Really?
Yeah. It was one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
Was that like a show or a demonstration?
No,
or
I'm
were
guessing
they
it was just people going skydiving.
just random skydivers?
Yeah.
No?
They're practicing because they're going to break.
Oh, it's the record breaker people.
Oh,
they were doing some trial jumps. Oh,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, this is kind of like that Red Bull thing we saw a couple years ago, a little different. They're trying to break the record, yeah. And so that you saw some training for that.
Oh, cool. Okay. See, I didn't know about the world record thing. That's neat.
Yeah, I'd heard about it. I don't know a whole lot about it, but I know of it. So that's what that was for.
Okay. Cool.
Nice.
But yeah, it was really
Did you mention
experience.
the truck was parked between two spaces?
I didn't mention anything about
We didn't
any
mention
of that
it.
stuff.
We just mentioned that you're a hero.
Oh, okay.
And that backing into your space, especially if you don't have a backup camera, is really just a
See, they don't know the
needless
context
thing.
for why
This is why I didn't want to
I'm a
say any of
hero.
this on the radio,
that's
and I
okay.
went too far already.
You have to know, once you push the snowball, it starts rolling.
So I'm not the hero you deserve. I'm the hero that you need right now.
Yeah.
That's what I just said. And now and this is why you're not the hero to deserve for this moment right here. It is
You're about to lose the cool points you just gained.
right. Well, take your cool points and get out of my studio. You won. Victory's yours. Don't make it any worse.
Own it.
There you go, Roy. He nailed it. It is 9:15. Let's get you up to date on the weather.
Proud of you.
Good job. You are the hero for doing that right there.
Bob Reed Pest Control protects you and your home by controlling pests that invade. Bob Reed Pest Control understands the importance of safety in and around your home from unwanted pests. Protect your family's most important investment, your home, and protect your children and pets from the dangers of poisonous bugs and insects. Call Bob Reed Pest Control today and let our fully licensed pest control professionals start working for you and your family. Find us fast in names and numbers. Call 623-5344, serving all of Southeast New Mexico.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We have just enough moist air available for some showers and thunderstorms by later on today. Pretty hot again. We'll be in the upper 90s, mostly sunny. And then tonight, scattered showers and thunderstorms with low 70s. Wednesday looks about the same. Showers and thunderstorms will be possible again in the afternoon, and we'll stay in the low 90s and partly sunny. Sunny and mid 90s Thursday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently, you know what? All that, and I didn't even refresh my weather. I'm a bad host. Currently 81 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity's at 41%. Winds currently out of the south at 7 miles per hour. There is a 20% chance for showers and thunderstorms after 3 o'clock today. Mostly sunny and highs near 98 expected. Winds will be out of the northeast 5 to 15 miles per hour. 30% chance at showers for tonight, mainly before midnight. Mostly cloudy with an overnight low of 72 and southeast winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. Wednesday, 20% chance at showers and thunderstorms, mostly sunny and 95 for a high. East winds 5 to 10 in the morning, 10 to 15 for Wednesday afternoon. 20% chance at showers for Wednesday night as well. Partly cloudy, overnight low of 70. Thursday, sunny and 95. Friday, sunny and 99. Saturday, we are looking at sunny skies, highs right around 100. And then rain chances back on Sunday, 20% chance for afternoon showers and thunderstorms, mostly sunny and 96. And a 30% on Monday when you head back to work and school as well. So we'll see. All right, it is 18 minutes after 9 o'clock. We're going to take a 3.5-minute commercial break. And then Greg Birch going to join us back in studio. We will see Roy's painting. And we will get an update from Greg on some of the artwork and some of the things where his artwork is showing up on books and all kinds of stuff. So that's coming up next. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
A good night's sleep is so important, and issues like sleep apnea make falling asleep and staying asleep nearly impossible, but we can help. I'm Dr. Sarah Usher at Carabelli Dental. With the help of a simple oral appliance, your sleepless nights could be a thing of the past. But don't take my word for it, just ask Lainey.
My name is Lainey Smith. I wasn't surprised when I found out I had sleep apnea simply because I had a horrible sleep pattern. I attempted to use the machine and it drove me nuts and I could not sleep with it. And then that's when Dr. Agger told me about the oral appliance. I would suspect I've been using it for 2 years now. In all of that time, I've had less than 10 poor nights of sleep. It's a complete game changer. I feel a lot better because I sleep.
This simple appliance can change your life. Call us today to set up your appointment so you can finally get the good night's sleep you need.
Come see the team at Carabelli Dental at the corner of 9th and Main in Roswell, or call 575-622-4455.
The Calico Cow has moved to a new home. Visit the Calico Cow at their new home, 200 East College, behind Farley's in Roswell. Lots of exciting changes at the new Calico Cow. New LED lighting, an amazing large classroom, plus more space, which means lots of new items and an even bigger selection of fabrics. Come see it for yourself. Want to know how? Come see the cow. The Calico Cow's new home at 200 East College in Roswell. Do you struggle with acne, eczema, or worry about skin cancer? Research suggests that 1 in 5 Americans will develop skin cancer by the age of 70, but when detected early, 99% of skin cancer cases are curable. At Epiphany Dermatology of Roswell, we place special emphasis on prevention, screening, and treatment, so schedule your annual skin exam by calling us at 575-208-7050 or by visiting our website at epiphanydermatology.com and get checked today. Prevention is key.
Let's face it, guys, we're living in times where the truth is becoming more suppressed and censorship is increasing at an alarming rate, especially on social media platforms. It's Clyde, and I want to tell you about a safe and secure digital playground we put together just for you. It's aftermath.media. You get access to thousands of Ground Zero archives and podcasts, along with our private social media groups with your basic membership starting at only $7 a month. Each subscription includes tech support, access to the RSS feeds, along with our own chat room and Telegram channel. In addition, the premium membership includes research study groups, webinars, a document and movie library, a live video stream of Ground Zero, a monthly Zoom chat with me, and other bonus content. Be sure to check out our yearly specials as well. Sign up today while you're thinking about it. Sign up at aftermath.media. Again, that's aftermath.media.
I was driving home from work.
I was heading out to meet my friends.
I was thinking about what I would make for dinner.
I was just changing the station on my radio.
I was checking my cell phone.
I was only trying to change lanes.
I never saw him.
I never saw him. I never saw that motorcycle.
Until it was too late.
Unfortunately, sometimes drivers don't notice motorcycles on the road until it's too late. Be aware. Always look for motorcycles, because it's their road too.
Sponsored by NMDOT and aired in cooperation with the NMBA and this station.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. The first toilet being flushed in a motion picture was in the movie Psycho. Mike thought it was Gone with the Wind. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 22 minutes after 9 o'clock, and joining us in studio, Greg Birch, back on this, I think third time back on the show, fourth time.
Fourth.
Yes, but for folks not familiar, Greg's been on a few times. First time he came on the show, he donated a painting to American Legion post here and kind of got on with his veterans painting. And then he brings me a painting, which was really nice. As you can see the collection back here. And then you came on again to give us an update, brought me another painting.
Yes.
And Sean an awesome painting. And then came on the third time just to bring us the painting, which is the Metallica painting, which the story we've talked about.
And the bad thing is I didn't bring y'all any paintings except for Roy on this one.
You need to stop. We have enough paintings. Thank you very much. You're so kind.
I just didn't want to do a depression show.
You don't have to come with gifts every time. We do appreciate you doing it. But you did do one for Roy this time because Roy was feeling a little left out. Yeah. So we got Roy here. But before we debut that, last time we talked to you, you were kind of doing stuff with the Rodeo Hall of Fame and a lot of art, your art being displayed there, and got a real chance. So you've had a few other things happen in the art world, in your world, since your Rodeo Hall of Fame stuff too.
And I've got I've got a few things, and I guess you can say more irons in the fire. But I've got two places that we're dealing with Beaujolais. And for the people that don't know what that is, that's wine.
Okay.
And we're in talks over that right now. This morning, before I came on, I got an email from them. And probably here next month, I'm going to have to fly out and meet the people in person.
Okay.
And so you might see some
you're going to do like
things-
marketing for them or something, some of their, or just some of their art?
Revamping their art.
Oh, cool.
Is what I'm doing.
Good deal.
And another little treat, yes, man. I've been in touch with Metallica, dude.
That's great.
Yeah, well, you got to understand, this was the first time that I actually got to talk to Lars.
Yeah.
And he's just a business guy. I mean, you get him off them drums.
Well, he was the one that was kind of spearheading all the Napster stuff back in the 90s there.
Oh, yeah. But he's 10 times rougher. I mean, he tells me right off, and him and James will both say Greg Burt because I call them Mister.
Nice.
That's only out of respect. Come on. But anyway, we do not do the midnight till 5 a.m. I can't do that.
Well, they're back in the States now. They were just in Dallas. They were just in Dallas, Arlington area over the weekend. So,
and so anyway, they just informed me because I'm dealing with some graphic designers right now.
Okay,
and this is all about the brand.
I'm sure.
And like they said, we can be friends and we can talk, but we have nothing to do with the branding.
Gotcha.
You're on your own.
They keep themselves separate from all that so they can focus on the art side.
These guys, I'm sorry, and I'm not trying to be a jerk, but man, they are some buttholes.
I can imagine.
I mean, they are rough.
I can imagine when you get to that level, you kind of have to be where you're at a little bit.
Well, and they're a multi-million-dollar brand,
and everybody's wanting something from them. Yeah. And they've got to protect that.
And they've seen people like you that they just think that you're a dime a dozen.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm talking.
Sure.
That's where most people don't have.
But as people and stuff, they probably treat you cool like fan. But when it's time to talk numbers and business, it's like, we're out on that.
Yeah.
You know, that has nothing to do with Nothing Else Matters or any of the songs we sing.
Nothing.
This is dollars and cents, and that's Metallica, the brand, not James.
I talked to James here about 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
And of course, he's a busy kind of guy, of course. But man, if it works out, I'm trying to get you some tickets.
Oh,
that would be awesome for you because they're supposed to be over in Phoenix.
Oh, really?
So that's close enough for you.
It is.
But we'll see because you're still dealing that what they say. Talk to my manager.
That's so cool that you're just in the conversation. I don't care about anything else. You're just having a conversation with them. I mean,
like
that's
I
awesome.
Said,
if not one thing comes of it, it's just so cool that like to be honest, I'm just like, I just want to meet the guy. I could care less about any other though. Just to talk to him and say,
I do. I wish that at the level of art that I'm doing right now, where these levels are, I wish that there wasn't a business side.
Sure,
because it sucks.
It is.
It does. But we live in a monolithic society, so I have to try to find that deal to where I give back, but you also have to be on that point to where what can also have an income.
Sure.
I mean, come on. I don't want to be a bum artist.
Yeah. Well, and that's just it. We have to remember that Metallica, there's James, and this is any band of that level. That Metallica is no different than Kraft or Ford or anything like that. It's the brand name. We fall in love with it because of the four guys behind the instruments. But those are the four guys. That's James, it's Lars, it's Kirk, that's those guys. They aren't Metallica. At the end of the day, they're James, Kurt, Rob. They're the group, and it's no different than me saying I'm Roswell Talk FM. I'm just Mike Winters. I'm not Roswell Talk FM, and so that's what Greg's talking about here. And I know as a fan or as someone who's like it's hard for us to see it from that way. We're like, no, four guys are Metallica. We know them as Metallica, but
they've got 60 other guys behind them.
But when you've got thousands of employees under Metallica, they're all Metallica now. All those roadies, all the managers, every person involved in that event happening in a different city every night is Metallica.
Exactly.
Just like you go to McDonald's to work, you're part of McDonald's. It's the same thing.
And so I've reached out and to Mr. Foot, and for people that don't know him, he is George Strait's manager.
Okay.
And so I'm looking at doing a painting because he just came out with his, number 16th, number one.
Nice.
So
I imagine he's a little easy to do because at the end of the day, that's one dude.
He has not responded yet.
Okay.
So
but I mean, like we're at Metallica, you may have to get four yeses.
Yeah.
We're at least with George, you just got to get George. And that might be a little easier.
And let me explain to you. Man, dude, I talked to my mom afterwards when I had that interview that I had been up all night with James. And then I was supposed to talk to his manager the next day at noon.
And you're like, how am I going to pull this together?
I don't care to ever do that again.
I can imagine that
was rough.
It's probably cool to be in the moment and do it. But yes, to prep for it and anticipate what's going to happen is probably nightmare.
And I posted on Facebook, and I remember to see it.
Yeah.
But in person, telling you, dude, that I would much rather go to 6 interviews.
Sure.
I mean, personal interviews to try to get a job than this.
Well, and I understand because they're basically know nothing about you, so they're asking the hard questions. They're like, what are you in? Are you into weird stuff? Are you raping people? Or because
they don't know.
You bring you into the fold. Guess what? If you do something, you're now Metallica.
Yeah, and you got 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And he tells you, you've got 2 minutes to tell me your agenda.
Yeah.
If you can't do it, see you later.
Yeah, and that's probably, and they have to be that way because there's so many people trying to get in through the gates.
He was rough.
Yeah, and that's and unfortunately, like you said, it's the business side of it that no one wants, no one likes, but it's the necessary evil sometimes.
And, I've been marketing myself, and that's what gets hard. And
Sure.
I know that people out there, they like, and maybe that's my fault.
Right. Well,
I post the fun stuff, but they don't get to see the grind behind.
Sure. But that's the passion. This is, like, I think for you, like this is awesome. You get, but it's one of those things where, and this is why artists in business aren't always marked well, because people that are artists, their brains work a certain way, that how they navigate life is through their artistic brain. And it's wonderful for what they do and things. But people that work that way, generally, sometimes the logic, the regimental side isn't how they work. And unfortunately, that's how business works. Everything's regimented. Everything's black and white. You get into lawyers, there is no thing as gray. It's either black or white. And that's by design and because, unfortunately, if you let your guard down, then you're going to get taken advantage of. You're going to get beat up and
spit out.
End up probably in jail and hated by everybody.
Because I mean, for the level that I'm at, I mean, you got your hobbyist artists, and then you've got what I'm considered in the art world as a professional.
Gotcha.
And because basically our income is not based on these paintings that you see, because a hobbyist really cannot wait like a gallery. Theirs is about the turnover and the income.
Well, and it's probably hard to determine value on what you do.
Exactly.
You know, it values what people are willing to pay for it. So, you know, and this is why Reputation always make the jokes about artists have to die before their stuff gets famous and all that. It's because now, and in theory, someone buys your painting, it's like, well, what's to stop him from making 37 more of these, and it's not valuable anymore.
Right.
And
that's all about print.
Yeah.
The less prints that you have with art,
sure,
the more value it is.
And then sometimes you get artists that their stuff got commercial, which makes it, you know, you look at like your Norman Rockwells and those types of artists that you know, Christmas time comes out, you just see their stuff everywhere, and it all Thomas Kincaid, you know, those types of things. Those are Bob Ross even. Bob Ross, his gimmick was just making painting available for everybody, and because he did it on a PBS platform, now, you know, he's dead now, they're valuable. But even then, Bob Ross it's
but
all of that stuff is done because of...
And Bob Ross helped out on that end to commercialize.
Yeah.
Because before, art was not really commercialized. And if you look at commercials now, I'm sorry, but I've helped drive that agenda to where now you're starting to see like the puzzle pieces that I do are starting to show up on TV.
Sure. I've seen a few ads where, especially like healthcare and those type ads, they like to do the puzzle piece. I've seen 3 or 4 of those. Yeah.
And, you know, those are trends. And it's kind of like that Bob Ross deal of, you know, I want people to understand that there's a lot of talent here in Roswell, New Mexico. And I'm trying to help get that out there.
And that's where Bob Ross was good at it. He's like saying, art is for everybody if you're willing to just sit down and do it.
And it's one of those deals that art, I like to look at art, and why I love it so much is you're taking personal responsibility.
Sure.
Because whenever you paint that piece, it's nobody else's fault except yours.
Sure.
You either suck whenever you do it, or you got to look in the mirror and say, I'm better than that.
Sure.
And that's my competition side.
And I would also imagine, too, and this is the beauty of painting, and I think, and this is where you get to anybody doing it versus not doing it, because you can do it with all the rules or none of the rules.
Exactly.
It's yours.
It's yours.
And I imagine for you, because you're a professional painter and formally study this kind of stuff, you're kind of like, no, I want to stick within the rules of realism or imperial or whatever it is you're trying to achieve with that particular painting.
No, I break them. I break them.
But I mean, but your rules are breaking the rules, and that's what I'm saying. There's still rules,
and that's why people
where somebody who may not know any of that's just like, I'm just going to put paint on a wall, on a canvas and see what happens.
Exactly.
Here. And neither one's wrong. That's the beauty of it.
That is the beauty.
Is whatever you want to do, and you can easily have a masterpiece with just throwing paint on a thing, and it went the way it went, you know?
But it's like the people that I deal with, because I'm supposed to do a show.
Yeah.
Sorry, down by the Louvre in Italy, and I've got a show over there that I'm supposed to do. And whenever you start to reach these certain levels, that's where you know that in your craft that you've done, the people that came before you, they're sitting here looking down like, why are you here?
Right.
And you do meet some jerks.
Sure. Well, and that's the thing in the art world. Egos come with a lot of this stuff, and that's humans.
The higher you go, the rougher it gets.
And it's true in every form of business or life in general. You're always going to meet those people, and that's where good humans versus bad humans come in, and that's how you figure out how to deal with
those.
And
it's one of those deals about, you know, there's times that I've wanted to blow up on Facebook and just say what I felt.
Yeah.
But why do I have to ruin my audience because I can't control my mouth.
Mm-hmm. I get what you're saying because I'm the same way, and when you see what I do for a living. And sometimes I do it. Sometimes I don't do it, but sometimes and it's. But I get what you're saying, and that's. But to me, this is why it's so cool what you're doing because what you're doing is not easy to do.
No.
When it's. I would argue going to college, getting your business degree, and working for a company is way easier than you painting your personal life onto something and getting people to give you money for it.
And putting it out there.
Or at least, getting reckoned. I mean, because there's so many things that come together. Yeah, you could easily set up a roadside stand, put your paintings on it, and say, come by and buy the painting, $10 a piece.
Exactly.
No problem. Make a living and do your thing. But this is way deeper than that. This is saying, look, I don't, the value is not why I'm doing this. This painting here, put your number on it. 200, 5,000, $1 million, $1, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. It means to me this because I had a vision, I had a creative thing, and so you looking at this painting means a lot more to it than someone else might do, and so that's why value and all that doesn't. It's hard to establish.
And when I do, and when I do give a painting away, because I've given paintings to a lot of people.
Yeah, you
for
give me
no
3
money.
right here, right here.
No
I got
money.
3 sitting right here. You just gave me.
And it's not to get the pat on the back. It's because whenever I do give paintings away, and that's not to say that I don't respect all of my fans and stuff like that. I would love to give everybody just my works.
Sure.
I would.
Well, and here's the thing, and this is where I think I get what you're saying. My mother was a crocheter growing up. She was an excellent crocheter. Like if you go to like Hobby Lobby or whatever and you buy the craft books that's got the patterns for making an Afghan or something, you'll see a picture of the Afghan on there. My mother, a lot of times back in the 90s and 80s, she's making those things, taking the picture, and when they put the book together, it's her Afghan she made that's on the cover of these things. She did a lot of that. She never sell this stuff. I was like, why don't you go to a craft fair and sell it? But you know what she did? Every Christmas, she's giving out blankets, dolls, all the things she makes, she gives out every year. So I kind of feel like that's your art is. It's like, it's me. It's what I do. I love doing it. Sure, if I can get someone to pay me money for it, great. But I just want people to have my art.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
And whenever I give it to people, do with it what you want. Burn it, take it to Goodwill, make a drum out of it. But I gave it to you because either I gave it out of respect, because of what you do. I like you. I want you to be my friend. Whatever it is. That's the reason why I gave it to you.
Yeah, that's why I was thankful.
But not just you. I mean, everybody that I've done it for.
Well, I mean, like Roy, you get everyone here. You just give a painting. It's just like you just have to hang out with Greg. So he's like, I'll see you next time with a painting.
Exactly. But I get to meet cool people. And I do get to do cool things. But man, the labor intense here. I'd much rather have a 9-to-5 job.
Sure. Well, you're probably in your own head all the time as a painter.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? That's
tiring.
your real estate is right there, and you're either overthinking or underthinking what you're doing.
And so then you see these. Then you go on and you see these quirky songs that I come up with.
Yeah.
But I have to do it because I paint to beats.
Sure. Okay.
What the beat of the music is. It ain't necessarily the song itself, as much as it is the beats. Kind of like Roy's painting.
Sure.
If everybody knows now. That was a Jamaica swing.
All right. Well, we're going to show that here, but before I do that, I want to get into your book side too.
Okay.
Because your artwork has also donned some book covers and things here over the recent weeks here too.
Yes, sir. I've got 3 more books on the way. These are murder mysteries. That's going to be.
Do you have to read the story to paint the picture?
No.
Okay.
No.
I didn't know.
I basically, Mrs. Butts, Cindy Song Butts. She entered this one here in a competition.
Okay.
But how this just originated was, man, this book took a lot out of me. It did.
It was a labor of just emotion.
Well, there was plots here, from America to Britain that took place before this T4, which was the kickoff to the war that most people just don't know about.
So what's the title of the book? That way we kind of get people...
No crying, pleading, or praying from Action T4 to the gas chambers.
Okay, so it's covering a lot of the history and everything there. And as soon as I saw the cover, I'm like, oh yeah, that's Greg Birch artwork. I can tell, right? You know how artists have a signature. And
this right here, it does look like, my mom told me, she said that it looked like the ash was, that you could just feel it. And it does have a texture if you feel it.
Oh yeah.
That feels like ash.
Oh sure. You're right. You know what this also has? It has a little of that kind of Dia de los Muertos kind of feel to it, too,
Yes,
a
sir.
little bit.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah, it's kind of...
And, I put the face over here in the smoke. If people can see it, I don't know if they can.
Yeah, you got to hit the right angle on the...
But there's like a lady here.
Yeah.
Sorry. There you go, Roy.
Yeah, there you go. That's about the best you can do.
And she's like looking down on the kid. But this whole Hadamar, these trials were going on as the war was taking place.
Okay.
And come to find out on this thing, I mean, man, it was just kids to start out with.
I gotcha. It's just rough to get through the story.
Well,
I mean, it's because it's so...
They like right here where you're looking at these gates, these were called a sluice.
Okay.
And they ran these kids through this sluice. This building off to the left-hand side here, they took the kids in there and then they disrobed them. And this place is just cold. They've asked me to come over and view it.
So it's still in place, like is it a museum?
Yeah,
today
they
or
do a lot
something?
of school teachings over there.
So was it like a concentration camp for
no,
kids?
it was
or just
basically, it looked like a W.
Okay.
Is what it looked like. They tore down the back section now.
Okay.
And so now it just looks like an L.
Okay.
The 3 gas chambers, what people don't know.
And this was just for kids at this one?
At this point,
Okay.
T4. Because if you had any kind of a defect,
so it wasn't just Jewish, it was handicapped, mentally...
No, this was all Germans. He was killing Germans.
Oh, it wasn't the okay.
No.
Okay, so these are Jewish citizens that...
German.
Or Jewish, I keep saying Jewish. German citizens that either have like deformities or mental health issues or,
what they declared.
Sure, mentally handicapped.
If you had seizure disorders, you were considered a detrimental society.
And I remember I did, when I was younger, get a chance to go see the Holocaust Museum in D.C. and they do have a whole section about what you're talking about, the dealing with the people that had defects and things like that. They weren't fitting in the master race, so they're going to they use them as experiments and all kinds of craziness on them. Yeah.
And so they ran these kids through, and then you go to the next section after they get disrobed, and they go in there, and there's 15 nurses and 2 male nurses. The rest are females. And they put a sticker right here on the chest on each kid. And what this sticker done was that after they gassed them, whatever your sticker was, this is where they would either cut out your brain or they would pull all the fillings if you had anything gold in your mouth.
Geez. So it determined what experiments they were going to do on you after they gassed you, basically.
And so the kids are sitting here crying at this point because they don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
But, and it's just cold.
This is why
they're naked.
Yeah, this is horrifying.
And so then they ran them downstairs, and you had 3 gas chambers. And the big gas chamber, what people don't understand is this was the gas chamber that went to Auschwitz. It was here in Hadamar at the very start.
Wow.
And anyway, then they would either incinerate, and here's the local farmers went to the people there, and they told them that the ash was, they had to do something different because the ash was ruining their crops.
Oh, golly.
Yeah, this book, it did. It took a lot out of me.
I imagine. Now,
mentally.
were you aware of some of this before getting into this, or
No.
Wow.
Because this is a story here that most people don't know about T4. And the reason why it was left out of history books is because it deals with America and Britain at the time. The foundations that set this up.
Gotcha.
People need to read this book for the history because we kept it there. She called it historical fiction because the family member that she portrays in here is not real. We don't have no records of it.
Events surrounding that character were very real.
But the events are real.
Yes, but the character is not real, so that part's the fiction part. It's kind of like if you ever read The Killer Angels, which is a Pulitzer-winning book about Gettysburg.
Right.
It factually, everything in the history, everything's right. It's just they portray the generals and stuff with a narrative that is not real. So.
And so we're going to have a book signing on this, and this is in a competition. that takes place, and we won't know the results of it until November. She declared this as her masterpiece. She's a good writer, very good writer, and she's a good friend.
I'm curious. Did she have personal experience here, family or something that was involved with this, or because sometimes a lot of people that want to expose something like this because it hit them directly. I was just curious.
From what I know, yes.
Okay.
There's some things here.
Because the people that are directly impacted by stuff like this generally have more passion.
She wrote 3 other books. And
I'm just thinking when you say masterpiece, and I was like, I got a feeling she has family. She has something connected to this.
And so, this one right here, it really set me down, and I didn't paint for days. I couldn't do any kind of business because there was nights
and then
I just couldn't sleep.
And I can imagine dreading the gumption of like, all right, I got to go downstairs and do this. And I got to build up the mental fortitude to do it. And so you got to pick the right song.
Exactly. You got that right, brother.
You got to pick that's awesome. Thanks for sharing that because, as me, it's kind of, I'm one of those, so I see a painting and stuff, but I never think about that side. It's like, there's a lot of heart in what you do, but when it's troubling, to get through it, I never think of it in that term. It's like, because at the end of the day, I'm just like, it's putting pen on a piece of canvas. But no, it's
I do my research.
Yeah, it's just like writing. It's just you're doing with visual instead of, you're pouring your heart into it. And sometimes I think we forget that because it's at the end of the day a picture what we're looking at. So,
but the book is $19, but you can go on to
it's on Amazon and get it. And give out the name of it again.
No crying, pleading, or praying from action or action. T4 to the gas chambers.
And what is the lady's author?
Cindy Sloan Butts.
Cindy Sloan. And so look for that if you want to get on Amazon or wherever you buy your books. And
whenever
pick
you
up
get
a
this,
copy.
they will be collectors because they'll be signed by me and her whenever we do the signing.
Good deal.
We just haven't decided. We're going to wait for numbers to show.
Does she live locally around here?
She lives in Albuquerque.
Okay, good. So they'll be around the state somewhere and things. Good deal.
But we're looking at either trying to do it here because she wants it for my local people.
Good.
And
it sounds like a story that more than local people need to see and hear. So that's a good thing. But
moving on.
Yeah, let's do the. I just saw the time. So
sorry.
Let's talk about our next one here.
Okay, here's the Billy the Kid.
Nice, Billy the Kid revealed, and this is John. Is this
Jim Townsend?
Jim Townsend. Okay.
Sorry,
Jim Johnson rather. He's the author of this one. Very cool.
And this was a piece that I had painted a while back, about a year ago.
This looks like a timeline piece where it's like this at this point, this location.
What you get on this cover here is all 3 buildings. The McSween home, which I was sorry, I don't want to make this about look at me, but I was the only artist to paint the McSween home, which is down here in the middle.
Which, if for people to know the story, that got burned to the ground during the Lincoln County War.
And nobody really knew. I mean, there was some things out there that showed what it looked like, but not in color.
Only thing we really know, you see was it Young Guns 1? I think the end. That's the recreating of the burning of the McSween house. The details are probably not the same, but that's what they're portraying there.
And then, of course, you got the Lincoln County Courthouse.
Yes.
At the top.
Yes.
Down here at the bottom, you got Fort Sumner, which is the Pete Maxwell house.
Okay. And then is the other the Murphy Tunstall store, or is that
No, he's just leaning up, and the building I put out there on Facebook, if people could understand, that was Billy fanatics, I guess you could say. If they could tell me where this building was. Well, supposedly the story is that right connected, there's an old photograph, and it does show the Tunstall store.
Okay.
And right next to it, they said that this is where, when Billy first came to town, that this building is where he stayed. So that's why I painted that, where he's leaning up against.
Well, and obviously the Tunstall family brought him in and everything else, and that's why his loyalty was very much to them. He was a worker for them, but, he was a vagabond looking for a job and everything, and he brought him in to do that. And so hence the loyalty.
but the whole story on that one is that he only worked for him I think it was 6 months.
Really?
That was it. You didn't have time to build a bond.
Well, I don't know. In that
6 months?
Well, I think in that world when you don't see a lot of people,
But Tunstall was never around.
Was he not? Was he not around? Was he in Britain or wherever?
No, I mean he was here, but he wasn't out there at the ranch.
I don't know. I just I'm guessing. I'm thinking if people do you a service, I think you generally, that's just cowboy way. You know what I mean? It's like he put me up, he did this, offered me a job. That's my team. You know what I mean? Sure, he may not got along. He probably got along with the actual regulators that were actually the guys that he was side by side with.
The guys he was palling around.
Yeah. With. Your Charlie Sheens and those guys there.
Right.
But
Emilio.
But definitely. So
anyway,
that's cool.
If you get up to Fort Sumner, people get out and just look. Go to the Chamber of Commerce over there. They're open on Saturday.
Okay.
And you'll see the only painting that's inside that Chamber of Commerce. Sorry.
It belongs to Greg. Cool.
But I donated that to them, and it's hanging there.
Good deal.
And it shows the Pete Maxwell house of what it would look like, what it did look like.
Sure.
They accepted that, so it's hanging there next to Billy. This is where they said they're going to put it, but we'll see. I haven't been back. Coming up, real fast, because I know your time and we got to get to Roy.
Yeah.
But just real fast, the American Quarter Horse Museum over in Amarillo.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting into there.
Wow.
I'm going to have a piece that is a puzzle piece painting that I've done of the American Futurity from Ruidoso, so it will be hanging.
Okay. Which is another great museum there in Ruidoso. Have you never seen the horse museum there and everything, too?
But this painting will be in Amarillo at the American Quarter Horse.
Yeah, you won't see this painting, but I'm just saying if you need a side thing when you're in Ruidoso, go check that out.
Let's see, what else? Real fast. The start of next year sometime, what I'm looking at doing here in Roswell, if everything works out, and of course right now we're just building the framework to it, I'm not asking anything from the public, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a screen print.
Okay.
And I'm going to have a giveaway. And all people have to do is just spend their Saturday morning to get up out of bed, spend their gas unless they walk, depending on where I have it at.
Sure.
And get them a free screen print.
Okay. You're just going to set up downtown somewhere and pass out screen prints.
And that's it.
Cool.
I'm not looking for nothing.
You just want to
give back to Roswell.
Thing and
I've given back to businesses, and I want to give back to
the
local
and who knows,
people.
Maybe some kid or something gets that scream, and that turns them into art fans and producing and making their own art. That would be a good thing. So.
And next year, I've already been accepted, but the painting ain't done. The concept is, but the painting ain't done.
Painting done here, just not there.
But again, New Mexico will be in a Hall of Fame, which is the Country Music Hall of Fame.
Oh, dang. Now you're getting a little bigger. You're starting to get up on the Hall of Fame scales here.
I've always been that one, and like I said, I've got a competitive side, but I can't sit down. I got to keep going because I feel like I got a short shelf life here. And who knows when these hands are done?
Sure.
Well,
so you're gonna
like
paint
the
as long
song,
as you can. Yeah.
Like the song said, Mona Lisa lost her smile. The artist's hands are trembling now. Well, who knows when that comes?
Sure.
Who knows when the eyesight comes? I'm not getting any younger.
Sure. But why you can do it, and at the end of the day, this is what makes you happy. This is what you do, and that's what it's about. And I would imagine as long as you can move a paintbrush with your hand, you're going to be painting.
Well, and this is what de Gaulle, Michelangelo, and Salvador Dali, all of them had faced, was trying to get their work out there to the world.
Yeah.
And that's the wall that you're up against, especially at that level.
Sure. And what hits and misses sometimes, you're like, I don't know, it did, but it didn't. So, hey, Roy, before we go, so you painted a painting for Roy.
Yes, sir.
And now, is this like a request he asked, or is this something you just created?
That boy, he's a freaking...
Because he's an artist himself. He draws, and he likes to draw.
He's a freaking enigma, like you said.
Roy's an enigma. You ain't wrong.
He's into himself.
But he's an artist himself in terms of... He's not a painter. He likes to draw and likes to do cartoons
sent me,
and anime and that kind of stuff.
A few things just to... I never watched what I'd done for him.
Yeah.
I've never watched.
Right.
So all of this, he's got a one of a kind.
Okay. So, Roy, if you don't mind... Would you mind showing your painting to us here on the camera and everything? Is he paying attention or is he in the room? Hey, Roy.
Roy, dog.
Hey, bring your painting. Yeah, he was doing something else.
Oh, we had the bullhorn.
So, this is the painting Greg did for Roy. All right. Oh, dang.
Yeah.
Okay, now what is the character?
This here is Knuckles.
Knuckles. Is this like
Hedgehog.
Sonic the Hedgehog? They look like one of the Sonic the Hedgehog characters.
Now here's what this boy got.
Lift it up a little bit so you can see it. Yeah,
If
that's
you
a
turn
beautiful
this
painting.
thing, I want people to look at the sky.
Oh yeah,
I put translucent paint,
That's
color
cool.
shift paint, metallic paint, and oil paint is what this boy's got.
that is so cool.
He's got it all.
That is so cool, and the way it, because the character's painted different than the background, it makes it pop a little bit more. Like it's kind of got that Sonic world, so it's really cool.
And
What do you
what
think
he's-
of it, Roy?
No, I love it.
Awesome.
Absolutely love it.
Good deal. So, do you have a spot for it already?
Yeah, I absolutely love it. It's,
deal.
it's Knuckles the Echidna, actually.
Okay. Now, in the world of Sonic, is that your favorite?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
I think that's my favorite character, actually.
Nice.
That's what you told me.
Yeah.
That's what I done.
That is so cool.
Yeah, no, it actually reminds me of like the early days of DeviantArt. That's a website for when they would draw characters and stuff in like the airbrush style and stuff like that.
And I researched, and that's what I told Roy coming in. I researched this guy, and as far as I know, there's not him in that stance anywhere out there.
Okay, that's a unique deal. So,
but you still got, because when you start doing cartoon characters, you can't say that it's yours, because I mean that.
Sure, that's a creation of somebody else, someone else's head.
And there again, there's his.
Well, he asked me for like what I like, and I sent him a whole bunch of stuff. I sent him a bunch of Linkin Park stuff too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which was robots, so I just basically took everything down, made explosions, and just.
I love
clouds
that.
and-
It's a cool painting. I'm not into Sonic and stuff, but it's just a cool painting to look at. I like staring at it and just staring at it.
And if you put it up to them other ones, I mean, they're nowhere. Whoa, they're nowhere even the same.
Yeah, they're all completely different. Different styles, different.
There we go.
That is a really great. It's kind of, man. All right. Now you got to get a nicer place to hang that up in, Roy.
Right.
And there you go, buddy.
Right,
There
where
you
no
go.
one can knock it down.
There you go.
Awesome. And I think he was on. I played nothing but Jamaican music whenever I played.
Oh yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, he's got the Jamaican colors on him.
Down by the beach.
Yeah.
He's got the
There you-
dreadlocks too. He's got
That is so cool. Awesome. I just saw the time. I got to play from a commercial. Greg, thank you. Thank you for the gifts. Thank you for joining us. Thank you so much for hanging out. We'll see you next time. Can't wait for the next chapter and see what's new on the
Me too.
And coming out. And thank you so much for listening and thinking of us when you're doing your art. We would greatly appreciate it. That's awesome.
Thank you, guys.
All right, 9:58. Let me do a quick break before we get kicked off the radio and Clay and Buck take over, because I got to pay for lunch. I do eat, and I can't sell Greg's paintings because I like them and I need food. So here's a commercial.
Man.
In New Mexico, with 20 convenient locations, visit PecosValleyProduction.com to explore a wide range of offerings near you. Pecos Valley Productions is now accepting donations for back-to-school supplies at all locations. Now through August 25th, Pecos Valley Production dispensaries will be collecting school supplies needed for grades K through 12, such as pencils, pens, notebook paper, binders, and backpacks. All items received will be donated to local schools and community charities throughout the area. Together, let's ensure that every child has the best possible start to a successful school year. Now go roll up to a PVP dispensary near you. PecosValleyProduction.com is dairy to dang. Support your local farmer, fresh from our farm to you. Nothing for sale, for educational purposes only. 21 and older with valid ID.
If you're missing a tooth or several teeth, a dental implant may be the ultimate solution. Implants look and feel so much like real teeth that you probably forget you have an implant. Maupin and Brown Dentistry is one of New Mexico's most experienced implant providers, with literally thousands of implant patients who are absolutely delighted with the results. Call Maupin and Brown today for an evaluation. You'll be surprised how affordable implants can be. Maupin and Brown, your choice for experienced, state-of-the-art dentistry.
Clyde Lewis and Ground Zero is now in Roswell on 106.5 FM. KEND Roswell.